starts over the Atlantic Ocean in Daytona Beach. And the Aggies of North Carolina A&T travel south to take on host Bethune-Cookman College in a MEAC matchup next. We're at Municipal Stadium in Daytona Beach, Florida for this 1AA MEAC matchup as the Aggies of North Carolina A&T take on the Wildcats of Bethune-Cookman College on college football primetime presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. Hello again, everyone. Charlie Neal, along with former NFL quarterback Jay Walker, would like to take this time to welcome you to college football primetime in Daytona Beach. And you look at this Aggie team, Jay, here's a team looking for their first win of the year. What makes them so dangerous is the fact that they have everything to gain, nothing to lose. That could be a problem for Bethune tonight.
Yeah, it's always a problem when you got a team out there that's fearless, they're young, they're naive enough so much where they think they should have won a couple games already. They're eager to get their first win on the season and start what they think should be winning ways.
And despite their 0-7 start, they have a brand new coaching staff led by Lee Fobbs. And one of the positives that's come out of this is he's been able to instill a positive attitude in his young men.
Yeah, you know, when we talked to the coaching staff at A&T, they weren't talking like a coaching staff that was winless on the season. They were talking about a coaching staff that feels that they're going to be contenders in the MEAC conference. Lee Fobbs is a great guy for the program. Every week they've showed continued improvement. If you're a coach, that's all you can ask for from your team.
As far as Bethune-Cookman is concerned, they've been hit with a rash of injuries, which has proved to be a big challenge for Alvin Wyatt and his coaching staff this year.
Yeah, you know, we know about the success that Coach Wyatt's had at the Bethune-Cookman program, but people outside and around the program will tell you this has been Coach Wyatt's best job of coaching, considering the fact they've been hit hard by the injury bug, but yet they're still in contention for the MEAC crown.
Well, it's the 30th time that these two teams have met, Bethune-Cookman and the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. The Wildcats of Bethune have won 3 of the last 4 meetings, and we'll be back to Daytona Beach and the opening kickoff on this college football primetime in just a moment. We're here in Daytona Beach, Florida for this Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference matchup on college football primetime presented by Buffalo Wild Wings, along with Jay Walker, Charlie Neal, and glad you could join us here for this contest. Go back to the last time that these two teams met. That was a year ago up in Greensboro, North Carolina, and it was a day for the Wildcats of Bethune-Cookman College as they came up big in that particular contest. Here's the quarterback for the Wildcats of Bethune-Cookman, Jimmy Russell, taking it in for a touchdown. And then he goes upstairs. Eric Weems on the receiving end of this pass. And then Weems on the pitch goes around the left side. And it was all Bethune-Cookman College as they came away with a victory 54-17. And we look at the series history between these two teams. Bethune-Cookman leads the series 16-13. As we said, last meeting was a year ago between these two teams. As far as the biggest, there's never been a shutout in the history of this series. In the previous 29 meetings, A&T's largest margin of victory was 73-7, and that occurred back in 1996. That was Alvin Wyatt's first year as the head coach at Bethune-Cookman College. The biggest loss was in 05 last year, 54-17. As you look at the temperature, perfect, 74 degrees, little or no wind, and hardly any humidity.
It's just perfect.
I know. You hit the golf course today. You should know.
Oh, LPGA International right down the street. It's just perfect weather for football, and that's what you expect when you come down south to the state of Florida.
Let's look at the keys to tonight's game as you look at Alvin Wyatt for the Aggies and for Bethune.
I think if you're North Carolina A&T, they said they want to deflate the football, keep that explosive Bethune-Cookman Wildcat offense on the sideline, and also Aggie pride. Charlie, I don't think that needs any explanation, does it?
Not at all. Not at all. No explanation at all.
And then when you talk about Bethune-Cookman, the key what they have to do is win early. They're still a team that's banged up. They've got the bulk of their MEAC schedule coming up, so they've got to win this game, put it away, rest your starters, and at the end of the day, never, ever underestimate your opponent. You still got to go out there and win the football game.
The Aggies of A&T will get the opening kickoff to start this 30th meeting between these two teams. Deep man for the Aggies is J.J. Yates. Kicking the ball off for Bethune-Cookman is Jesus Cortez, a senior out of Fort Meade, Florida. Number 81 there. He's been a good one over the years here for the Wildcats. A line drive, and it comes to one of the up men at about the 16-yard line, bringing it up the field, and finally bounced out of bounds at about the 32, 33-yard line is Dion McNair, a reserve freshman running back from Randleman, North Carolina. You'll hear us say the word freshman quite a bit tonight when we talk about this Aggie team.
Yeah, you know, we talk about one of the freshmen. You're looking at one of them right there in Wayne Campbell, but look at the size, 6'5", 215 pounds. Make no doubt about it, he is the future of North Carolina A&T football.
So from their own 34-yard line is where the Aggies start to work. First down and 10. You talked about Campbell. And their backup quarterback, Miller, didn't make the trip, and they pitch it off to the left side, and they keep it on the ground on first down. And let's look at the offensive line for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. Des Moines Ware, Jonathan Carter, Timothy Best, Andrew Sadati, and Chad Wiley are the up men. The backs and receivers, Garth, along with Curtis Walls, the receivers. Spain is the tight end. The fullback is Trey Green, and Mike Ferguson is the tailback. And they like to run the two-back offense. One thing Coach Lee Fobbs told us, they are a traditional two-back offense, and here's Ferguson, one to carry, going straight ahead, and he gets it up to about the 39-yard line. As we look at the defensive line of the Wildcats of Bethune-Cookman College, you saw Josh Balloon. There he is right there, making the last stop. Dennis King, Eric Wilson, Raymond McCullough, and Rodney Hughes are the down linemen. The linebackers, Ronnie McCullough, Torian Charles, and Josh Balloon, who just made the last tackle. And in the secondary, Ben Ballard, Travis Rowland, James Mons, and the free safety, Bobby Williams, with 6 interceptions to his credit this year, ranked first in the nation in that department. Ferguson again with the handoff, has the first down, and is close to midfield. I'll make it at about the 44. No, he's short of the first down. I thought he had it. He's about a yard shy, maybe.
Yeah, kind of let you know the mentality of this coaching staff. We talk about deflating the football. Third and an attainable 6 yards, and they decide to run the football. They got a lot of faith in the running game. Fell a little bit short there, but that's telling you that Lee Fobbs and staff, they're going to commit to running the football, allowing this game clock to continue to move.
So it's going to bring up a 4th down punting situation. They're about a yard shy of a first down. So 3 and out on the first series for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. And they'll be punting it away. Lee Woodson is their punter. He's a redshirt sophomore from Reidsville, North Carolina. Eric Weems, one of the deep men, to return this kick. And it will not be a kick. And we may have a flag on the play as the ball is down at the 1-yard line, but we may have new life for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. We got a personal foul running into the kicker, and it's against Bethune-Cookman College. Andre Lowe is our referee. Let's see it.
And this wasn't even close. You take a look, and you know, a lot of times kickers do acting, but he got hit in the stomach, in the gut, in the leg, so that was an easy one to call, and that's just one of those mistakes you can't do.
Roughing the kicker, 43 defense, 15 yards from the previous spot, automatic first down.
43 was the man who was kicking the ball. I think he got the wrong number. It was probably number 20. It looked like Joshua Young, who was the man guilty of roughing. So it's a first down and new life for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. They need every break they can get this year.
They need it. More importantly, a fresh set of downs and more time that they can take off the clock.
And they're across midfield at the 41-yard line of Bethune-Cookman College. And the fullback this time, Trey Green, on the carry.
Green on the carry.
So a gain of about 3 or 4 for Trey Green. It'll be 2nd down and 6, we'll call it. The ball moved down inside the 40 to about the 36, 37-yard line.
You know, Charlie, let's talk about this A&T for a moment. We've done many games all over the country. I've never seen a starting offensive unit where there's not one senior on the field.
No.
Unbelievable. In the starting lineup, freshman, sophomore, junior. Unbelievable.
And offensive lineman had never played a down of serious college football before this year. And here's Ferguson with the run off the right side. Ferguson down inside the 20 to the 19, and we have a late flag. And we may have another personal foul against the Wildcats of Bethune-Cookman. Ferguson with a great run that time.
What we talked about in the open is the fact that they're naive. They don't know at times that they're 0-7. This is the team going out there on a mission, trying to prove that they belong, and they're getting better every week. And you can tell if you're going to be an A&T football team, you're going to have to learn to run the football. And this is a great run play. Seal block there, good running back, making a linebacker miss, and the face mask there at the end to tack onto it to give them some additional yardage. So if you're North Carolina A&T, this is a great start to this football game.
Yeah, I was talking to their longtime radio announcer, Spencer Gwynn, and he was saying which team is going to show up tonight, because one week they look good, one week they look bad, and he said last week they looked bad against Howard University. Maybe this is the week they look good.
Yeah, that happens with young team. Inconsistent.
Ferguson breaks a tackle and is down to the 11-yard line.
Very impressed with the way that this offensive line for the Aggies has been able to control the line of scrimmage. They've come out and run the ball, and there hasn't been one play yet where they haven't had positive yardage rushing the football.
And there's Ferguson's numbers this year coming in, averaging 3.6 yards every time he's touched the ball. His longest run was 19 yards, and he's averaged about 43 yards a game. As a team, they've averaged only 74 yards a game rushing this year. 2nd down and 6. Play action to Ferguson. Here's a fullback. Touchdown, Trey Green. North Carolina A&T. Trey Green with the touchdown from 11 yards out. And for Campbell, that is only the 6th touchdown pass he's thrown this year.
You talk about coming out with a game plan. They've run the ball all day in the first drive, come out hard play action pass, and you want to play fullback in this system, you have to have the ability to sneak out of the backfield. And Trey Green did a good job of getting open in the flat.
The point after by Brownhouse, and this one is good. So the Aggies shut out a week ago. They jump on top tonight, 7-0. We'll be back.
House on the Prairie. Yes!
Back here in Daytona Beach, Lee Fobbs on the sideline. First time this year that his team has scored on the opening drive. They go 65 yards in 7 plays, and you use 4:04 off the clock.
Ran the ball every single play, one pass. When they passed the ball efficiently, coming up with a touchdown. And there's such a thing in Greensboro called Aggie Pride, and I think they may have brought it with them down here in Daytona.
No question about it. On the return this time. And here's Corey Counsell. Counsell stood on his feet and has not stepped out of bounds. What a return by Corey Counsell. Simeon Platt finally makes the stop defensively for the Aggies, but not before a great return all the way inside the 30-yard line. That one was good for 44 yards on the return, or 49.
Yeah, and A&T had them walled off. You wonder, why is the kicker going inside when you've got the return guy walled off on the inside? He fell for the fake there, and it was a good job by Bethune-Cookman of utilizing the wall they established on the left side of the field.
So at the A&T 27, you're talking about having a short field and not to have to go far to get into the end zone, as Counsell brought that one back. Counsell, a very dangerous kick return man. He's the man in motion right now, and they keep it on the ground with the running back. And that's Chauncey Hampton on the carry. The stats on the quarterback. Jimmy Russell. There he is. He's the man who's starting the game tonight.
When you're looking at those stats, he's not a small quarterback. That's an Alvin Wyatt quarterback. He wants you less than 6 feet tall with the ability to run the football and stretch the defense.
They keep the ball on the ground once again. The Aggies have defense on the stop. Donald Dorsey. And let's look at the defense. With Griffin, Massey, Barnes, Lee, and Mordecai up front for the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. The receivers, Summers, Eric Weems, and Stephon Walker. Corey Counsell and Chauncey Hampton are the running backs. Justin Brannon has also run the ball a couple of times, number 37. And they keep it on the ground once again and go straight ahead. Let's look at the defensive line for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. Antonio Johnson, Jermaine Brantley, LaShawn McClain, and Patrick Cates. The linebacking core consists of Robert Johnson, Davion Hempfield, Jamison Hedgepeth, and the secondary J.J. Yates, Donald Dorsey, Nick Clement, and Wilfred Billingsley. 2nd down and 8. Big number 90 there. You see, that's Jermaine Brantley. Defensive tackle comes in at about 285. In a second down, play action. Russell going to the air. Touchdown, Bethune-Cookman College. This is Summers on the catch. Jonathan Summers, his third touchdown reception of the year.
One-on-one coverage on the outside, and Summers was able to put a move on Wilford Billingsley, one of the few seniors. And take a look at Russell, rolling out hard to his left, gets his shoulders around and delivers a strike to Summers for the end zone as he stretches beyond the pylon.
Now for the point after, Cortez. He's only missed 3 all season. 23 of 26 point afters. This one is good. And we have a tie ball game. 8:37 to go. Short field, 4 plays, 27 yards. And Bethune has come back to tie it on Jimmy Russell's touchdown pass. His 6th touchdown pass this year.
This week on Sunday NFL Countdown, how about them Cowboys?
Played less than 7 minutes, and we have a tie ball game already. 7-7. Both teams scoring on their opening drives, Jay, including the last one, or the only one, and the first one by Bethune. As you look at a 4-play, 27-yard drive.
Yeah, they did a great job. And what I really want to take a look at is the fact that look at what Jimmy Russell, the quarterback, does. Coming out as a quarterback, rolling hard to your left with a hard sell to move the defense away and having the ability to square up your shoulders and throw that type of pass. That's an efficient passing game. And when you've got quarterbacks that can move around in the pocket like that, they're very difficult to defend because the pocket's not always in the same place.
So Jimmy Russell with his 6th touchdown pass of the year. Summers with his 16th career reception. And this one comes down to Yates. And Yates trying to go to the left side and gets it across the 20 to about the 23-yard line. And that's where the Aggies will go to work for the first and second time today. Chauncey Hampton defending. 18-yard return for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. As you look at number 24, Brendan Odom there for Bethune-Cookman College. Alvin Wyatt, what a character he is. 11th year, 71 wins as the head coach of the Wildcats of Bethune-Cookman College. First down and 10. Second possession for the Aggies. They scored on their opening possession. And they got a little Ferguson trying to go left, but then the black jerseys of Bethune-Cookman come up quickly to make the stop. And that last time they had the ball, this is what happened. This led to the touchdown, a roughing the kicker penalty against the Wildcats of Bethune-Cookman College, and then A&T was able to take advantage of it.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. You have to learn how to capitalize when the other team makes a mistake, and they ran the ball very well. And after Bethune-Cookman committed an extra defender in the box, they decided to go with a hard play-action pass, and Trey Green was the recipient of the touchdown reception.
Trey Green, first touchdown, a second touchdown reception this year, has none as a runner. And here's a pass out of the backfield, and it goes to Spencer Spain, the tight end, who's brought down by Bobby Williams immediately.
We talk about Bobby Williams with the interceptions. He's got 6. He's leading the nation, but a free safety is not supposed to be able to come up and rock a tight end like that. One thing about Bobby Williams that makes him special, he can finish. He's not just a pass coverage guy, but he's a hard hitter. And you normally don't talk about free safety becoming hard hitters.
Preseason all first team MEAC. He leads the MEAC in interceptions. Played on a high school state championship team down in Miami at Norland High. Redshirt junior, has another year. And follows a long line of great defensive backs as this pass is complete to Curtis Walls across the 40 to the 41 for a first down. And Bobby Williams again on the stop defensively, one-on-one.
Yeah, this is the big-time pass. I mean, take a look at Campbell in the shotgun. He's got to get rid of the ball quickly because the blitz is coming. And what do you do against a team that blitzes? You got to hurt them where they're coming from. And take a look at the pressure coming. You've got both linebackers by the form of Charles and McCullough blitzing hard up the gut. But Campbell showed some poise as a freshman, didn't get rattled, and delivered a strike.
He started his college career at Eastern Michigan and transferred after they wanted him to play another position. And here again is Ferguson into the secondary across midfield and down inside the 40 or to about the 40-yard line. And we have a penalty flag. Let's see what it's all about. It may be a personal foul.
You know, this is one of those things where you're Ferguson. You've got to have that home run ball. You got to be able, when you get a hole like this in the secondary, find an extra gear in a way where you turn that long run into a touchdown. The home run hitters have the ability to do that. I'm talking about the premier running backs in the conference, and Ferguson's going to be a good one, but you can't get tackled, arm tackled 25 yards down the field.
Oh, we couldn't hear what our referee Andre Lowe was saying, but it's a first down, and that moves the chains even further down the field for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T, where Lee Fobbs wanted to do. And when we talked to him yesterday, he said, hey, we don't want to be behind the chains. We want to be at least even with them or in front of them.
Yeah, you know, and moving the chains, you know, in small increments. He doesn't need to hit big plays all the time, but he wants to manage the game efficiently. He's putting a lot on the shoulders of his young quarterback, Wayne Campbell.
Talking about Ferguson, he's a sophomore from Northern Durham High in Durham, North Carolina. Here's play action. Rolling left, Campbell throws, and it's incomplete. Spencer Spain, the tight end, was the intended receiver in the end zone, just couldn't get to it.
Wow, and Spain did a good job of eluding the defender, Travis Rowland. He was beat there. You take a look at the hard play action fake. Once the tight end sneaks behind the safety, he's got time to look downfield, and we're that close to having another touchdown pass on the day, but that's one where Campbell's got to settle down. As a quarterback, you have to be able to hit that tight end wide open.
Yeah, Jared Lawson was the man who he beat down there in the end zone, and again, that could have been 6 very easily for the Aggies of A&T. It is second down, and look at the passing so far. The Aggies 28 yards. Passing, of course, Bethune has worked with a short field. Here's Ferguson cutting to the outside. I thought he probably should have bounced outside a little more that time, and that's the inexperience.
Yeah, that's the inexperience. You know, this is a guy that didn't get a lot of carries last year because they had Brandon Trusty running the football. The better running backs, once they get used to MEAC play, they bounce that, put a move on the defender one-on-one on the outside, and it could very well be a touchdown rather than just a 4- or 5-yard gain.
Lee Fobbs, you saw him play this collegiate ball under Eddie Robinson down at Grambling.
Who was that?
You don't know. He graduated in '73 as the 14th head coach. As you look at his counterpart on the other side, Alvin Wyatt, who played his college ball right here in Daytona Beach at Bethune-Cookman. Passing situation for Campbell. Lets it go. Has a man there. Intercepted. In the end zone for a touchback. Coming up with it is James Jones.
James
Mons, rather. James Mons, number 23, the junior from Fort Pierce, Florida. That is his first interception of the year.
Yeah, you know, Campbell goes here. You got a rule you got to learn. You never try and throw the ball back across your body. The defender had an easier angle to come up with the interception. Let's give credit to James Mons. I mean, that interception was all him. He trailed the wide receiver, and once the ball was in the air, he went up and attacked the football like he was the wide receiver.
So for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T, that is the 11th time this year that they've thrown an interception, and the 9th time that Campbell has been picked off.
Yeah, you know, that's one thing about A&T teams. Bethune-Cookman teams throughout the years. I mean, you throw the football, it's at your own risk. I mean, they got ball hawks back there, whether it's Rasheem Mathis, Nick Collins, Bobby Williams, and now James Mons. They know how to attack the football when it's thrown.
So Bethune, we have an offsides against Bethune-Cookman. Well, great high school action coming up tomorrow night while they sort out this penalty. And it'll be a chance to catch future stars of football today. It's Fort Myers, the Green Waves, taking on North Fort Myers, and the Red Knights, led by running back Noel Devine. It's the Old Spice High School Showcase, presented by the U.S. Marine Corps. ESPNU Friday night at 8 Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPNU.com. Aggies with the ball on defense, and Bethune with the ball, and it's first and 15. And here's a pitch to the right side. Jimmy Russell, he lets it outside, and here's Weems down the sideline. Boy, they've run that so effectively over the years.
I mean, it's so difficult to defend because you've got these great wide receivers, I like to call them, playing quarterback. And once they get on the edge in open space, they're just a nightmare to bring down. They're not afraid to pitch the football 15 yards past the initial line of scrimmage. And you'll see there, Weems was the recipient, but that was a great job by Jimmy Russell of stretching the option to the sideline, getting upfield, and still knowing he had that relationship with Weems to deliver the pitch.
Good for 30 on the play. Or 25, actually, because that drive started at the 20. That was good for 12. Actually, they had a penalty, didn't they? So it was 30. And here's a pass out in the flat. And Council has it. Council is up to 10. 5, touchdown. No flags. Corey Counsell with his first touchdown reception of the year. He has 2 catches in the game. He has 10 on the season, and he's going into the end zone for the first time, 55 yards.
Counsell showed great athleticism and great speed. I mean, take a look here. He's open early. Right away, you can tell it's a blown coverage. The linebacker gets caught in the trail position. You can't have that matchup there. Counsell's just going to outrun everybody, and he turns on the jets. And we talked about Bethune-Cookman. You got to talk about the speed. And Corey Counsell showed that the speed is just as good as advertised.
And Cortez on for the point after to make it a 14-7 ball game. And the kick is up, and it is good. For 4:07, the time remaining here in the first quarter. Bethune has struck both times. Innis has the ball. They took advantage of a turnover. And they drove all the way down for 7 more. ESPNU College Football is presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. You have to be here. Back here in Daytona Beach, 14-7, Corey Counsell was the man who put 6 points on the board for the Wildcats of Bethune-Cookman. He was recruited.
Look at that. What is that? The band getting into the special teams, getting the rhythm of the band before they kick off. Getting the rhythm down here. I mean, we got to talk about this Wildcat band. I mean,
but we talk about Counsell recruited as a defensive back, runs a 4.340. You can see the speed, the breakaway and pull-away speed on that play. But with that speed, they had to put him on the offensive side of the ball, and he was named a preseason second-team all-conference selection.
Yeah, a guy with that fast, you give him the football, and you say, "Run, Counsell, run."
This one drives Yates deep into the end zone. It will be brought out to the 23rd offensive possession of the night for the Aggies of A&T. Let's go back and look at the touchdown again. Jimmy Russell, who's 81 yards shy of breaking Patel Troutman's passing record.
Yeah, you know what happened when you got the freshman free safety in there. Donald Dorsey gets out of position on alignment right away. He blew his coverage, and then he tried to recover, and it was too late. When you got a guy with Counsell with all that speed, and you blow your assignment early, that's what you can call a mental error. See, he's a young kid freshman, didn't know who he was supposed to cover. By the time he realized he was supposed to cover Counsell, it was too late because Counsell's just too fast.
Eugene Parnell is in as a fullback now for the Aggies, the up back in the eye. Ferguson is the second back. Campbell still running the quarterback spot, and they give it to the fullback. Parnell, the junior from Florence, South Carolina, 8th carry for him this year, came in averaging just about 4.7 yards per carry. First time we've seen him, and he goes out and gives way to Trey Green, who checks back in. Trey Green was injured much of last year because of a shoulder injury, and I'll tell you what a young man he is. A 4.0 grade point average for Trey Green. That 2-back offense.
Yeah, look at that. We're cheating Campbell. We're giving him an interception instead of a touchdown. I got to speak up for the quarterback there. He's already thrown a touchdown. So my bad, calm down. You got it right. It's a touchdown, not an interception.
Here's a draw play. Good play defensively by Balloon, who came up to make the initial hit on the running back, Michael Ferguson.
One of the reasons why A&T would have a chance in a football game like this for success is the fact that although they're young, they're big on the offensive line. They've got 4 offensive linemen that weigh over 300 pounds up front. Although they're young, but if you can get that momentum going forward, you can do things. And the one place where Bethune-Cookman has been a little weak traditionally has been the defensive line. They're not big. They got smaller guys. They don't have a bunch of 300-pound defensive ends. They've got one big guy in the middle and a bunch of swole-up linebackers playing in. So if you can start running the ball straight ahead, you can get positive yardage on Bethune-Cookman.
From the shotgun this time, and the pass is incomplete. He was trying to get it to, let's see, I think it was tipped. The man that was intended for, number 17 there, Tony Leaf, was also a holder or kicker for the team.
Yeah, take a look there. I mean, that's just, you also wonder, why do you go to that guy? I mean, he was 2 yards off beyond the line of scrimmage. He was covered very well. And that's one of those things that A&T can't afford to do. 3 and out, give Bethune-Cookman the ball back with 2 minutes left before the quarter. And they're explosive enough where Bethune can score in 30 seconds, let alone 2 minutes.
Here's Woodson back to punt it away. Again, very dangerous. Eric Weems is back there along with Counsell to receive this. And we got flags that stopped everything. And let's see, we'll probably get a false start against A&T.
Snap, false start, 29 offense, 5-yard penalty, remain fourth down.
2:09 the time remaining here. We're in the first quarter of action. You talk about the Aggies, what they lost. They lost Jared Marlin on the offensive line, Brandon Trusty, Marshall Glenn, Warwick Watkins. I mean, we didn't see Brandon Sweeney back this year, Quante Spate, the running back, who, you know, a lot of people they lost from last year's squad. This one will come down. Weems is going to let it bounce. And it continues to take an Aggie bounce and goes inside the 30, where it's finally down at about the 28-yard line.
I thought it was interesting when you talk to the coaching staff there at A&T. They said when they look back at everything, they lost the recruiting class.
Right. And that's very important. Don't forget Sunday night, a full day of college football. A Saturday night, rather, a full day of college football on ESPNU continues. 2 more games in prime time. It starts at 7 Eastern with the number 13th ranked Arkansas Razorbacks taking on Louisiana Monroe and the Warhawks. And then at 10 Eastern, the Alabama State Hornets meet the Bulldogs of Alabama A&M. It'll be the 65th annual Magic City Classic in Birmingham, Alabama. Both teams chasing down Jackson State in the SWAC East. College football prime time presented by City on ESPNU Saturday night. For more information, log on to ESPNU.com. First down and 10 for Bethune-Cookman. Here's the quarterback again, trying to roll, looking for somebody. Russell finally gets the pass out in the flat, and it's a first down on the far sideline. And it was Victor Johnson who was the man on the reception, number 19.
You know, you look at Jimmy Russell dropping back in the pocket, you're wondering who's he going to. I thought he had wings early there, but he got a little greedy. He wanted to look downfield for the big home run ball, and once he got in that scramble mode, he just kind of lost eye of where Wings was. But you know, Eric Wings is one of those special players where I don't know if you can guard him one-on-one. I mean, he's that special type of guy. He's got speed, and when he catches the ball, he's definitely one of the most explosive players in the MEAC Conference with those rack yards, those run-after-catch yards after he catches the football.
There was a penalty on the play, and I'm not sure what it was, but it's probably holding, because this one's coming all the way back, and it's probably from the spot of the foul, and it'll be brought back to about the 26-yard line. And I'm not sure who was holding. We missed that one, but it is still first down for the Wildcats of Bethune-Cookman. First and about 16. Ball spotted at the 27-yard line. Jimmy Russell has gotten the nod tonight. They've played both quarterbacks, Gerard Rucker, this year. Russell has been bothered with a high ankle sprain, Rucker with a hand injury, and they try to option to the right side. Here's Corey Council, and Corey Council finally tackled out of bounds by Donald Dorsey. Donald Dorsey, number 2, coming up to make the stop defensively.
And that's going to be a tough matchup for Donald Dorsey all night. And one thing that Coach White and staff will do, they will continue to go with that matchup, because Donald Dorsey is a big free safety. He's a young kid. We talk about he's a freshman, but he's 6'2", 190 pounds. And you're trying to tackle a 4'3" scat back like Corey Council in the open field. It's going to be a long evening.
There was a gain of 5. We're down to 48 seconds left in the first quarter. It is second down and 11. Jimmy Russell, a junior from Jonesboro, Georgia, Riverdale High, criminal justice major. Wants to be a Secret Service agent when it's all over. Out of the shotgun he's working. And has a little pressure, decides he's going to run it, then lets it go. And what a catch made downfield this time. Coming up with it, number 7, that's Jonathan Summers, the senior from Rabault High down in Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, man, I like the job that he does. Once he goes up and he comes down with this football, watch how he deadens his leg. Russell buys some more time getting outside the pocket, but make the catch and just make your legs drop only. Get 1 foot in, 2 foot in. That's a great job by Jonathan Summers.
That's good for 23 yards. It moves the chains across midfield into A&T territory. The ball at the 46-yard line. Summers had 31 receptions, 31 straight games in which he caught receptions until the FAMU Florida Classic game last year. Back on track again. And here's Russell going to the air. This one is a little bit too big this time for Victor Johnson. He goes incomplete.
Said that pass was a little bit too big. I mean, you've got to really be off target to miss Victor Johnson. He's a big target, 6'4", and you miss that big guy there on the out route. Get it in his body. See, when you got big wide receivers like that, you can kind of get away with throws in the body because they can box out the defensive back, but he's got to miss that one. But I can't say anything negative about Jimmy Russell. He's come out here and had command of this offense, and you can't hit them all.
No. Came into the game with 2,643 passing yards throughout his career, 16 touchdowns. And you look at, Victor Johnson actually came in as a quarterback, and he is basically the third-string quarterback in this team should something happen to Rucker or Russell. And here's a pass on an out pattern, wide open. There you go. Make it out of bounds. That's Eric Weems at the 22-yard line. Finally brought out of bounds by Marcus Ruffin.
One of the things we talk about with Eric Weems is, I mean, he's such a great athlete, but he's got a feel for the game. So once he gets this safety one-on-one coverage, he gives a move to the inside. He's sitting in the soft spot of the cover 2 defense and making that catch. And that's just how you draw it up there. Throwing the ball and attacking the soft spot of the defense. Great separation between he and Johnson on the dig route combination.
Remember, this drive started at their own 28. They've driven down to the 22 of the Aggies. 4 seconds left in the first quarter. Weems on the left, Council on the right. And here's the option to the right side. Jimmy Russell round the right side and down to the 15-yard line. And that's going to be the last play of the first quarter. Jamison Hedgepeth on the stop defensively, but not before. The quarterback, Jimmy Russell, ran it down to the 15. When we come back, it'll be second down facing the Wildcats of Bethune-Cookman, 2nd and 3.
Producing the official
Back here in Daytona Beach as we start the second quarter. You're looking at college football prime time, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. Dr. Trudy Kimball-Reed, the president of Bethune-Cookman College, with some of the young men who played a little football game, very exciting football game to say the least, earlier here before our game kicked off. And she's recruiting early, isn't she?
Oh, man, I like a president that gets down there and gets on the football field. Put those fields on the grass and show that you care about athletics. That's what I'm talking about.
On second down, here's Jimmy Russell on the keeper, trying to get to the first down marker. He may be about a half a yard shy. Let's see exactly where they mark the ball. Very close to the first down marker. It'll bring up a third down if we didn't make it. As we look at our first quarter stats, I think they're going to measure this one. The Aggies, 62 yards rushing, 28 passing, and they had that turnover after they drove down the field on their second possession. And the Wildcats of Bethune-Cookman, most of the yards on Jimmy Russell's arm, 114. It's going to be a measurement here in terms of whether they got the first down. We talk about Bethune-Cookman in the season that they've had. They started out with a 1-point loss to Southern University. They committed 3 turnovers in that game. In fact, they had more total yards than the Jaguars of Southern University. Russell 94 yards running and 187 yards passing. And then against Savannah State, they won 55-6. They beat South Carolina State 45-21 after trailing 14-0 in that game. Beat Norfolk State 22-21, forcing the Norfolk State Spartans into 4 turnovers. Oregon State beat them 28-14. They lost to Dell State 33-31 and beat Winston-Salem a week ago. Let's listen to Alvin Wyatt. They call him Shine, 11th year. He was a very successful coach on the women's basketball scene from 78 to 96. He was the coach of the year in 1984. And they're going for the first down, and looks like it was P.J. Smith on the carry. What they call the B-back. The way they name their backs, they have the A-back, the B-back, the X receiver, the LA receiver, the Z receivers. And then they have the wide bone.
Yeah, we talked about the offensive coordinator, Brad Bernard, there. what is the wire bone? And they say it's a mixture of the ham bone that Tracy Ham and staff made popular down at Georgia Southern and the old wishbone. And, the key is they do a triple option up the middle of the field. Most people, wishbones attack the edges. They got the ability to attack every gap on the line of scrimmage.
First down and goal at the 8-yard line. P.J. Smith in the backfield. Here's the option with Russell. Russell up the middle. Touchdown. Bethune-Cookman. Russell with 8-yard run. And he increases the Wildcat lead to 20-7. Jimmy Russell with the run.
Wow, what a great athlete. Look what Jimmy Russell does. He actually puts his ball in there, realizes he should have given the ball to the fullback, takes it himself up the middle of the field. See, you have to be a great athlete to have the ability to recover from your own mistakes there. So he should have given the ball to P.J. Smith going up the middle of the field, but he pulled it out of his stomach, but still stopped on the dime and cut back up the middle of the field for the touchdown.
So the point after. Cortez, good. 6 plays, 68 yards. And a touchdown. And we'll be back.
Mike Hall here with an update in the
Charlie Neal.
All right, Mike. Hey, the thunder has already struck for Clemson. It's about time for lightning spiller to strike also, huh?
Yeah, that's a tough place, and hey, for them to get on the board early in Blacksburg, Virginia, that's not an easy place for that road trip there. That could be one of those trap games. You go in there when Virginia Tech's a little bit down, thinking you're going to get an easy victory, but hey, Blacksburg is not an easy place to win.
They lost it last time they were down there. Michael Vick was the quarterback for Virginia Tech, and that was back, I think 1999 that Clemson, I should say, yeah, Clemson lost down at Virginia Tech. 13:51 the time remaining in this one, 21-7 our score. Bethune has scored on every possession so far today. This will be the 4th offensive possession for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T, with the receiver just made a mistake. He didn't mean to touch that ball. It was going out of bounds, and for some reason or other, and there you go. That's that youth and that freshman mistake.
Yeah, that's the youngness. You got to realize, just let the ball go out of bounds and don't get close to it. And, look at Bethune. I don't know if A&T is going to have the ability to stop Bethune-Cookman. I would be surprised if Bethune had 2 punts in the whole game. And you normally don't go into a game saying that, but right now, Bethune-Cookman's really rolling on all cylinders, and they're just such a matchup problem. I think, when we were in the meeting, I said, Coach, you got a young defense. Can you guys, do you have the mental capacity to slow down a wishbone attack? And he thought they did, but I just don't understand how you do it, because as a freshman, you have to have the ability to think against this offense.
Jimmy Russell already 115 yards on just 4 completions. That's pretty good average, isn't it?
Stat day. Yeah, certain games you look on the schedule and you say, hell, this is going to be stat day. And right now, Jimmy Russell is facing what could potentially be his stat day.
And there's Wayne Campbell, his counterpart. He started off pretty good, took his team all the way down the field on the opening drive, and they score on a touchdown on a pass from Campbell to Green, 11 yards. It's 2nd down and 8. Campbell calling the plays. Play clock down to 8 seconds. And here's the pitch to the right side, left side, and trying to cut it back. And not much running room is Ferguson. Now, you were talking about the offensive line and the size of those guys in the middle. You talk about Tim Best. Here's a young man at center. Comes in at 340 out of Parkland High in Winston-Salem. He was on the defensive side of the ball. They moved him on the offensive side. Then you got Sagati, who is a real great story. He's a kid from Pago Pago. And, he went to junior college. And then you got Jonathan Carter at 330. And, Sagati is 325.
Yeah, see, now, Best, that's big. That's a big man.
Yeah.
He's a sophomore, but I'm not a fan of the 300-pound center. I think at the center, you've got to still be small about yourself. And, you need more quickness, because you have to have the ability to help out the guards and pull around there. I don't know about him playing center 340 pounds.
Shotgun. And they get it down to the 20-yard line. Michael Williams on the stop, Garth on the reception.
What you're starting to get now is, Bethune-Cookman is starting to force their will on A&T. A&T wants to come out and run the football, but Bethune-Cookman, by the pressure defense, is starting to pick up the tempo. Bethune-Cookman wants to get into a shootout, and the problem with that, if you're North Carolina A&T, you just don't have enough bullets in your gun to shoot against this Bethune-Cookman Wildcat offense, but I like the job by Alvin White and staff, forcing the tempo, blitzing the young quarterback, not allowing A&T just to run the football.
Lee Woodson back to punt it away, gets a good high kick. Good hang time this time, and it is fielded by Weems at about the 43-yard line, looking for somewhere, and somehow manages to pick up another 5 or 7 yards before he's finally brought down by Ricky Burns. Timeout on the field, 11:41. That's the time remaining here, second quarter, 21.
A doctoral research institution.
Mike Hall with another.
It certainly is. They're tying it up, huh? The Hokies Beamer Ball is alive all of a sudden, huh?
I mean, they've been winning a lot of football games in that part of the country for a long time.
Jimmy Russell going down the sideline, going down the middle of the field. A little miscommunication between him and his intended receiver down there.
What happens when you get in games like this, when you're so in control of the offense, you got a tendency to try and really pad up your stats. You know, we called it earlier stat day for Jimmy Russell. And you start to bypass the read that's wide open in front of you and say, hey, you know, I can take a deep shot here. As a quarterback, sometimes you do that just to make sure the defense doesn't start blitzing. But what you want to do is just continue to go through with your reads, and you'll start to build your numbers. But the last couple passes, Russell's really tried to force the vertical passing game.
11:25 remaining. We're in the second quarter here, and a fumble on the floor, and it's finally picked up by Jimmy Russell, and he's hit by a couple of white jerseys, led by Lionel Brown. But the last drive by Bethune-Cookman College, let's look at it. Great catch along the sideline by Summers, and then the catch by Weems, and then Jimmy Russell. Really a misdirection play, and it was not meant for him to carry the ball.
That's just unbelievable. The athleticism that Russell showed on that play, with the ability to change and shift and redirect himself to still get to the center of the field at the weakness of the defense. You just can't teach that.
Well, we have a new quarterback in the lineup, Gerard Rucker. First time we've seen him today. The junior from North Miami Beach, and he hasn't been working under center that much because he's got a bad hand, that right throwing hand, but he's got legs. He's not having any problems with his legs, is he?
Yeah, and that's what you do. You know, I think Coach Wyatt's trying to teach Jimmy Russell a lesson here. You know, you want to sit there and not run the offense that we designed you to do and show off and hot dog a little bit. We've got another quarterback that come in and do the right thing. So now they're interacting, and they're going to bring Russell back in there. But I like this. He's looking downfield. He wants to throw, take off, run the football, and trust me, offensive coordinators love when you get first down.
1st and 10. The ball spotted at the 37 of the Aggies of A&T. Jimmy Russell, who started the game, is back in there. Here he's going to roll right now. Has some running room. Throws and has it complete down to the 25-yard line. And it should be another first down for Bethune-Cookman as Summers is on the receiving end once again, and we got a player shaking up on the play for A&T. He'll make that Bethune. That is Summers. Watch the block.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you call a seal block. You know, guys trying to get to your quarterback, don't let him touch him. And once you get outside the pocket, a quarterback becomes a dual threat. He can run or pass, and it's a good job of drilling that ball in there to Summers.
Mordecai, the right tackle, with a good block that time to allow his quarterback to complete the pass for the first down. From the shotgun, they go this time with Russell going to the air. Throws incomplete. And it'll be 2nd down and 10. Log on to your new online source for all things college sports, ESPNU.com. This online gateway will connect you to all the college sports content from ESPN, combining the latest news with an expanded collection of new exclusive materials, scores, columns, video, and audio highlights, podcasts, live streaming, games, much more. Just log on to ESPNU.com today. We are college sports. I'm glad you could join us here in Daytona Beach. That's where we are for this MEAC matchup. Total yards in the game so far, 126 for Bethune in the passing department. And this is Rucker in the lineup throwing the ball. Again, when he has that bad right hand, they haven't worked him much under center. In fact, both quarterbacks haven't worked much with the team this year, this week, and since they've been off. The one thing that helped them this past week was they had a bye week this past Saturday. They did not have to play, so it gave them a chance to heal a little bit.
Yeah, and I think, you know, we talked about the season that Bethune-Cookman has had. They beat South Carolina State. I mean, they won the game, but we said they lost the war.
Yeah.
I mean, they were beat up. And everybody thought after they beat South Carolina State, oh, they're going to run through the rest of the conference. But they lost so many players due to injury in that game, and they haven't been able to recover. And the key now is they need to get their health back. When they're healthy, they're definitely one of the premier teams in the conference. But South Carolina State took so much out of it.
It certainly did. And
Ball start, offense, number 19, 5-yard penalty, remain third down.
Victor Johnson. How many steps on this drop?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 with a shuffle. You know, when you're going for an out route, you know, you're making yourself that much further from your throw. So what should be a 12-yard out route becomes a 32-yard pass because the quarterback dropped 15 yards downfield. So
and plus he has the bad hand, and that's his throwing hand that's been bothering him. In fact, they changed the shotgun to what they call a pistol or the sawed-off shotgun, so he wouldn't be so far away rather than having him directly on center. So he's closer to the line of scrimmage than normal for a shotgun. Here's Rucker again. He doesn't see the player from the blind side. Still on his feet, though, has escapability, and somehow eludes. And still on his feet. Cuts it back, and he's inside the 5. Or like inside the 10. Reel. Donald Dorsey. Boy, I'll tell you, how did he get out of that? He got hit twice in the backfield.
Oh, man. They showed a little bit of Houdini, but what I really liked was the wipeout block he got from the wide receivers downfield. You see him here eluding one tackler, then you see the guy, you missed that tackle there, that's big, but he's an athlete. He's got a bad arm, or then has a bad leg. And look at the block right there to wipe him out. He just slid through that. That's athleticism there. These Bethune-Cookman quarterbacks are all great athletes.
And they're going to be first and goal at about the 3-yard line. And one of the things when we talked to the Aggie coaches yesterday, they talked about the youth of these players. They're not good at finishing and wrapping up players. There was a couple missed tackles. It shouldn't be first and goal at the 3.
That's true. I mean, you know, they've got size, but they don't have that grown man strength. You know, when you're a freshman or sophomore, you can only be so strong. You need that off-season conditioning program where you're pumping iron and hitting weights all the time.
8:53 the time remaining, second quarter. We have a 21-7 ball game. Aggies.
Whoever it is, whatever it is, let's make sure we get it to work now, okay? We got to get the split. Get the splits now. Read it.
They want to get to work. They have the ball with at the 3-yard line. It is first down and goal for the Wildcats of Bethune, threatening to add to their lead. Rucker is running the offense right now, working out of the shotgun. On first and goal, they give the ball off to the right side, and let's see if they signal touchdown. Yes, they do. And it's a touchdown off the right side. And the man on the carry, P.J. Smith. And P.J., I thought maybe his knee was down before the ball got to the goal line.
Yeah, it was close. I mean, he went there with a lot of momentum, and that's a teaching tool to all the youngsters out there. Go out there with a lot of momentum and make the referee deny you from getting in the end zone. He's running hard, lowers his shoulder, and he was clearly down.
Yeah, he's not in there.
He was clearly down, but hey, down there on the goal line, I mean, it's a bang-bang play. So the official only has so many seconds to see whether or not he thought the knee was down, and with all that momentum, it was tough for him to tell.
And the PAT is good. And let's look at it once again as you look at P.J. Smith, senior out of Daytona Beach. One of those mainland hand. Yeah, knee is down.
Knee's down, but you know, that's a tough call for an official because, you know, a lot of times you can, when you get piles down in the goal line, it's a matter of momentum. But he was running so hard and so fast, you know, it's a bang-bang call. You know, you can't really fault the official for missing that one there.
Yes, you can.
Well, you can say that, but I want you to do it.
I can't believe that you are backing.
That I'm finally backing the official. Normally it's the other way around because, you know, you're a part-time striker.
Hey, don't forget Friday night, October 27th. Catch the future stars of football today. Fort Myers, the Green Wave, taking on the North Fort Myers Red Knights, led by running back Noel Devine. It's the Old Spice High School Showcase presented by the U.S. Marine Corps and on ESPNU Friday night at 8 Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPNU.com. And talking about players up tomorrow, we got a chance to see some young
Stars.
The future stars.
Look, they're throwing the football.
Watch this. Look at this run.
I mean, look at the foot speed. Look at the acceleration. High knee. Just look. Tailbone.
What I like is the helmet. Look at the logo on the helmet. The U-Hawks.
I mean, they lit it up. Look at the misdirection here. Then look at them getting to the edge there. You know, 22 down here in Florida. The president even can appreciate that.
That's Trudy Kibble-Reed, president of Bethune-Cookman College. I said she's already recruiting, and I'll tell you, the way those
Sign
young
up
men,
22. I don't know his name, but find out what elementary school he goes to, and keep him close to campus.
That last drive, 8 plays, 48 yards, 2:54 off the clock.
Wow, Cortez is really having difficulty kicking the ball off the tee. I mean, that's the second time where he's kicked that ball close to the sideline. The first time A&T bailed him out with a guy receiving the ball inside his own 20, pinned on the goal line or on the sideline. But
kicking team, by rule, the ball will be placed at the 35-yard line, first down.
So the Aggies get the ball in pretty good field position. Remember, this Aggie team, in case you just joined us, they started off and scored in their opening drive thanks to a roughing the kicker penalty, and they went all the way down, and it was Mr. Campbell throwing 11-yard pass to Green, and they led it 7-0. But since then, it's been all Bethune-Cookman. They've scored 28 unanswered points, and they take a 28-7 lead.
And I think the key is they were moving the ball efficiently, but when Campbell came out through the interception in the red zone, that killed all momentum.
That's Don McNair carrying for the first time today, and he gets popped pretty good there as he goes into the hole by Ronnie McCullough. He was one of those kids that got banged up, as you talked about in that South Carolina State game, playing maybe about 75% tonight, still not 100%. And here's a carry again on the backfield for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T, and not much running room again for the running back. And this time is Ferguson on the carry.
Yeah, that's tough. We talked about Ronnie McCullough on the previous play, and Bethune-Cookman's got a middle inside linebacker with NFL hopes and dreams. They'll be drafted high Taurine Charles and Josh Balloon, and collectively they form the best linebacker corps in the MEAC conference. I mean, all three of these guys can run, chase the football,
better than the Hamptons, Justin Durant, those guys.
Durant's almost a one-man show. You'd be pressed to name another name at linebacker for Hampton, but when you talk about these guys, everybody can play and get on it.
Campbell rolling, throws, almost intercepted, or is it? It might be. I think it's going to be a Bethune-Cookman ball. Let's see.
Tie goes to the receiver.
Well, let's see. I'm waiting to see what the official has just said, that it's complete down at the 45. But whose ball is it? He's pointing to North Carolina A&T, and Alvin Wyatt doesn't like it.
Yeah, I think when those two guys went down, unless he came up with a clear indication that it was an interception, once he rolled over with the football, if you got to assume both guys had possession, and the tie goes to the offense. A defensive back can't take the ball from a wide receiver when he's on the ground.
Mons was the defender on the play, so it's a great play and a good move of the ball all the way across midfield down to the 45-yard line. And a bounce to the outside, not much running room. We get a flag down, and we may have holding in there. This time on the carry was Eugene Parnell, the fullback from Florence, South Carolina. And it is holding against the Aggies of North Carolina A&T.
There are a lot of different ways that you see holding called. Typically it's on a pass play, but in that case,
holding, offense, number 75, 10 yards from the previous spot. Still first down.
Your man, Tim Best.
And that's what happened. It was a bang-bang run play. But what happened, Bethune-Cookman blitzed all three linebackers. And when you've got a 340-pound center trying to catch up to an athletic linebacker, he's out of place. So he has to hold so he doesn't get in the backfield to disrupt the whole play. So there are different ways to get holding. When you've got aggressive linebackers, they can force running play holding penalties.
6:35 the time remaining, first half rather. Here's Campbell under pressure, trying to set up the screen. Had a lot of pressure up front and just couldn't get it going by Michael Ferguson. He was the intended receiver. And here's what's coming up here at halftime here. Sports Center U will update you on the Clemson Virginia Tech game down in Blacksburg. College hoops favorite. It's not far from getting the college hoops tipping off, and who needs to step up Everybody needs to step up, huh?
Man, is it time for the pretty boys to take it to the hardwood already?
Oh, yeah. All of that coming up at halftime right here on the ESPNU. 6:30 remaining. And it's almost intercepted, and it's going to be out of bounds, incomplete. We're in Daytona Beach. We'd like to welcome those who were watching the Lufkin-Woodland game down in Texas, where Lufkin was leading 9-7. We're in Daytona Beach for this 1AA matchup, featuring two Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference teams. In the black jerseys, the home team, the Wildcats of Bethune-Cookman College, who are leading in the ball game by a score of 28-7 over the Aggies from North Carolina A&T. Along with Jay Walker, I'm Charlie Neal. Gorgeous night here in Daytona Beach, and the Aggies with the ball facing a second down, or make it a third down, with the ball at their own 45-yard line. We had offsides on the defense that time, and the quarterback, Campbell, is sacked. Now let's look at how Bethune's gotten all their points. The Aggies started off leading 7-0, but then Jimmy Russell with the 12-yard pass, and this goes to Summers, and that tied it at 7 apiece. And then Russell with a 55-yard pass to Council after they intercepted the ball, and it's 14-7. And Russell with the 8-yard run made it 21-7. And then P.J. Smith with the 3-yard run. And here's the total yards right now. There's Jimmy Russell, the quarterback for Bethune, who has led this offense for all of his scores so far today. 126 yards passing, 113 yards rushing, 239 to be exact. Not bad for first half of play. With 6 minutes to go in the first half. From the shotgun, Campbell working, and he gives it off to the right side and getting close to a first down. It's going to be shy at about the 37-yard line, and running with abandon is Michael Ferguson, finally stopped by Ronnie McCullough for the Wildcats of Bethune-Cookman College. Got to bring up fourth down.
Michael Ferguson has definitely been the bright spot for this A&T team thus far. You know, you look at Lee Fobbs and A&T, why are they 0-7? Well, the key is they lost 28 seniors. They only have 5 seniors. When they look at everything, they said, we missed the whole class. I mean, we're missing a class of guys. So what do? You take it on the chin and you coach them up and deal the hand that you've been dealt. This team has continued to improve week after week.
And it looks like they were going to go for it on fourth down, and now let's see if they're going to call a timeout and talk things over. Alvin Wyatt, first team, he's had a couple good teams over the years. 11th year as their head coach, 8 consecutive winning seasons, 70 career wins, second winningest coach at Bethune-Cookman College. In fact, his first 2 years he didn't win and lost to this Aggie team in his first year big by 67 points, I think, in the first time they played each other after he got the job as the head coach.
Yeah, and he's really evolved as a coach. I think when he came to Bethune-Cookman and took over the head coaching job, he had an idea of what he wanted to do, and he just threw that out. He said he wanted to go out there and recruit the biggest and the best, but he realized we can't do that here at BCC. So what he decided to do was go out and recruit players specifically for his scheme. And in doing so, he brought in some great players, Patrell Troutman and Alan Suber and Stephen Baggs and all those guys, and Rasheem Mathis, the guys that fit his system. And what he's got now is an efficient 1AA program that's got a system in place. And when he goes out to recruit players, he already knows where that kid is going to fit in.
And he also was, when you talk about the offense, most of the quarterbacks are all of the same stature. You know, he has a young kid that is redshirted this year coming from Fort Lauderdale named Matt Johnson, and he's another Alan Suber. We got a chance to see him.
That's a lot of pressure put on that kid. Suber was Superman.
Yes, he was.
He was special.
Well, they're going for it on fourth down. And for the season, they're 1 of 7 in fourth down conversions. Let's see if they can convert this time. The Aggies, they go straight ahead. It's going to be very close. He may have it, depending on the, as they say, the right foot spot or the left foot spot.
I saw him leading with the right foot, but I think he got it. I think they got him right on the line, and in this ball game, he should get it. One of the things, a little small thing, and he got the first down, but one of the small things that Wayne Campbell can do as a quarterback, when you decide to go for it on 4th and short, less than 5, give yourself a chance. Call it on 2. Tell your offensive line you can't jump. Call it on 2 and try and steal the first down before the ball's even snapped. And I don't like when kids come out and they go for it on 1 right away. you know, because the defense can jump, but I would try and get them to jump off sides initially and then run the play.
Yeah, we got a player shaking up for the Wildcats at Bethune-Cookman College. A little slow getting up there. And that looks like the linebacker.
Torrin Charles.
Yeah.
And that's big. I mean, he's the heart and soul of that defense. We talk about the year that he's had, but he's the captain. He's the leader. They go to him, and he's the NFL prospect, and he's an all-conference selection. And you just hate to see a guy like that go out when he's been playing so well his senior year. But we talk about the injury bug has been biting Bethune-Cookman all season long, and it looks like it hasn't gone away just yet.
He's a young man who they did documentary on, Year of the Bull. Went to Northwestern High down in Miami, Florida.
Down in Liberty City.
Torrin Charles. Preseason first team, all MEAC selection. But right now, the Aggies with the ball and 5:02 to go in the first half at the 35-yard line of Bethune-Cookman College. Campbell running the offense right now. And he has a little play action rolling to his left. Has it incomplete. Trying to get it to the back, coming out of the backfield. And he was trying to get it to Eugene Parnell. And when you look at the MEAC standings, how important this game is to Bethune-Cookman, you see there's a three-way tie for first between Hampton, Delaware State, and South Carolina State, with Delaware State and South Carolina State playing each other this Saturday up in Dover, Delaware. Bethune-Cookman, they come out with a victory today. They would be 3-2, and they play Hampton next Thursday right here on ESPNU. And, of course, Morgan State is still in the hunt along with Florida A&M, and the Florida Classic coming up in November. So these games are very important to the Wildcats.
Yeah, and I think, you know, what the key is the fact that with all those teams, they all have to play each other. You know, when they have to play each other, this could be a season where whoever wins the MEAC conference could easily have 2 losses on the loss column. It's so competitive. Conference from the top to the bottom. Very competitive year, but the winner does get that automatic bid to the 1AA playoffs. So you know all coaches have their eye on it.
Certainly do. The Aggies of North Carolina A&T started out with a loss to Winston-Salem, a team that's joining the conference next year, full-fledged.
You say start out with a loss. I was waiting for you to hear when you're going to come in and say, then they won, but they lost here, and they lost there, and they lost there.
Lost to Hampton, Louisiana Lafayette, Norfolk, Morgan, Dell State, and Howard last week. They were shut out. Here's a pass complete on the near side, and a good move by Curtis Walls. And Walls down the sideline, and Walls stepped out at about the 21-yard line, but gets the first down before Jared Lawson ran him out of bounds.
Well, that's what happens. You get good one-on-one coverage here. Take a listen. Oh, missed tackle there. Shaking up the tackle.
But he did step out of bounds, run at about the 21-yard line. That mark it at the 20, and his first down and 10. So the Aggies trying to get into the end zone. They've made one mistake so far today. They threw an interception, but they were driving in their third possession. And the running back, Ferguson, goes straight into the gut. You know, one of the things you talk about, some of the great running backs that have been through North Carolina A&T. You talk about Maurice Hicks and people like that. He was the last 1,000-yard rusher that they've had. They've actually only had 5 1,000-yard rushers in the history of the school. Maurice Hicks had 2 of them. And the last one was 2001. He had 15 touchdowns. And let's go to Mike Hall in the studio for Sports Center U in-game update. All right, thank you very much, Mike. 3:41 the time remaining here in Daytona Beach, and a timeout on the field. 28-7 is our score. In case you just joined us, Campbell with an 11-yard pass to Green that made it 7-0. The Aggies, first time this year they scored on their opening drive. And then 28 unanswered points by the Wildcats of Bethune-Cookman. Russell with a pair of touchdown passes, one to Summers, the other to Council. Then he ran in one for 8 yards out, and then P.J. Smith with a touchdown run. This drive, this will be the 12th play of the drive, and they've used almost 5 minutes off the clock, and it's 2nd down and 7 for the Aggies. Good run to the right side, still on his feet, 10, 5, and down to the 2-yard line goes Ferguson. Michael Ferguson, who has 3 touchdowns rushing this year, averaging 3.6 yards per carry.
Yeah, we talked about the more touches he gets, the more he'll start to grow and learn and start having the ability to run through arm tackle. See, that's what you like to see there. Make defenders miss. He made 3 Wildcat defenders miss.
Including Bobby Williams.
Who we know can finish the deal. And that shows the effort and the lower body strength to keep the legs going.
It is 1st and goal for the Aggies of A&T. And again, the handoff, nothing going on that time. Maybe a fumble. Boy, they can afford to turn the ball over down here in the red zone.
Yeah, no, that's that learning curve. You got to learn when you're down on the goal line. What you never want to do is turn your back to the defense if you've got the football. You see Ferguson has the ball here. He's running. The hole's not there. Just go down. He had that ball very loose.
Yes, it was coming out when he's spinning around.
Yeah, you know, when you turn your back to a defense, bad things can happen.
Michael Ferguson, the second back in the eye. Trey Green is the up back on 2nd down and goal. And they keep it straight ahead, and we have nothing yet. No signal yet. And we got a fumble and recovered by Bethune in the end zone for a touchback. Boy, when lightning strikes, it strikes bad for you when you're losing, right? And there's Bobby Williams. And look who comes up with him.
You know, he creates turnovers, whether it's an interception or coming up with a fumble recovery. As you take a look here, he's got the ball. Wow,
he never got the ball.
He never had the ball.
Yeah, the ball was dropped on the exchange and bounced into the end zone. And so with 2:39, the Aggies blow a golden opportunity to put some points on the board.
I mean, that's 2 times they've had the ball in the red zone, and one was an interception, the other was a fumble. They've got to figure out ways to capitalize. And Bobby Williams, Mr. Johnny on the spot, having the awareness to realize there was a fumble. And that's another tough call right there for Lee Fobbs. I think what you have to do is you can't ask your quarterback to make that 360 pivot with that counteraction to get the ball to a fullback down on the goal line.
They go 64 yards, get to the 1, and turn the ball over. That drive started at their own 35, and they had used over 11 minutes or 5 minutes off the clock and gone 12, 13 plays. So the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats will get the ball for the 5th time today. They've scored every time they've had it. And here's Rucker throwing on the near side, and Weems is on the reception. It's good for about 3 or 4 yards. He had to come back a long ways to catch that one.
Yeah, but, you know, reading your keys, and that's one of the things that Rutgers are doing in this game. He's reading his keys, and, you know, very smart guy, intelligent guy. You talk about Rucker. This is a guy who's got a 3.9 grade point average. Pre-law.
Yeah, he's going to law school. In fact, he has another year of eligibility, and they ask him, are you coming back next year? Because he's actually going to graduate on time. And he said, no, I'm going to law school.
Yeah, how many guys, you know, say, I don't want to play, I want to go to school.
Right.
But in this case, you know, I don't know if I should call him quarterback or counselor.
It is 2nd down. 2nd down and 6 for Bethune. Working out of the shotgun this time is Rucker with plenty of time. Boy, he's got all kinds of time. Finally decides he's going to get it complete on the near sideline. And you're talking about having all kinds of time. Coyle Daly was the man on the reception, his 5th reception of the year. A senior from Plantation High in Fort Lauderdale, who started his college career at Purdue and then transferred here. He played 2 years there, played in 03. He was redshirted his freshman year back in 02, criminal justice major.
I understand that A&T wants to play zone coverage all day long, but right now you're really putting your 4 defensive linemen at a disadvantage because there is no pressure at all right now on the quarterback. The A&T pass rush is on the bus.
And here's a pass complete to Jonathan Summers, and Summers is across the 40 to about the 41-yard line. Finally, Michael Hay came up to make the stop defensively. They'll mark it right at the 40. It'll be 2nd down and 5.
When you talk about a wide receiver that likes to run the football after the catch, I mean, Summers was going to try and go all the way across the field to find some green grass to run, but these wide receivers from Bethune-Cookman, they're tough and they're athletic.
Here's a team that was picked 5th in the preseason conference poll. And one of the things Coach said, he had to have key healthy quarterbacks today. And here's a pass again. And Daly on the reception, but doesn't gain anything. Actually loses yards. And it was J.J. Yates who came up to stop him.
Now, this is probably one of the few poor decisions that the Bethune-Cookman Wildcat offense has made today. Throwing the ball, a swing pass out there to the flat for negative yardage.
Yeah, they're moving all the way back. They actually lost about 4 or 5 yards on the play, maybe 6. And it'll be 3rd down and 11 with 1:21 to go. Bethune today have been perfect on 3rd down conversions. They are 3 of 3. Let's see if they can convert a 3rd and 11 here. Here it is. Weems wide open. 40. 25, still on his feet. And he's done that before where he's been hit and surrounded by defenders and somehow has gotten out of there. Marcus Ruffin on the stop defensively.
Yeah, I mean, this is, first of all, there's no pass rush. To let a guy get this wide open in the soft spot of the cover two is just unbelievable. They're playing a soft cover two with the safeties 20 yards downfield. That's too deep. They've got to get up there closer, but the team speed of Bethune-Cookman is forcing the defensive secondary for North Carolina A&T to respect them and give them too much cushion off the line of scrimmage.
Eric Weems, preseason second team all MEAC, 7th in the nation in receiving yards per game. And that long pass reception didn't hurt his average. Here's Rucker throwing to the end zone. And it's a touchdown to Victor Johnson. His first touchdown receiving this year.
Chris Caesar on the coverage, and you know, you hate to see the kid put his head down, but that's just too long to ask a defensive back to cover. I mean, look how much time he's got here. He's got all day, all long. You can't put your secondary in that position where they have to cover for that long. And you'll see there the quarterback doing a good job of throwing the ball up high. Earlier we saw Jimmy Russell underthrow Victor Johnson, but in this case here, Rucker threw the ball high and allowed Johnson to go up and get it.
And remember, this point after is good to make it 35-0. This all started with a fumble by the Aggies of North Carolina A&T at the 1-yard line after driving 64 yards. And here's the touchdown pass by Rucker, his first of the evening.
Yeah, and it all starts with lack of pass rush. I mean, they've had all day to sit back there in the pocket and throw the ball. And anybody can throw touchdowns if you've got that much time in the pocket. North Carolina A&T has to figure out a way to get to the quarterback.
6 plays. They went 80 yards. And they used 1:58 off the clock. Don't forget what's coming up at half right here on SportsCenter U. Want you to stay with us. Clemson and Virginia Tech, an update of that game from Blacksburg. And, of course, college hoops is right around the corner. Who's the favorite to take it all this year? And who needs to step it up? As you look at Lee Fobbs, who's hoping some of his players step it up tonight.
Yeah, they need to step it up. And I'm curious as to who Steve Fields needs to step up. You know, Mike in the prelude said the one man in all of college football. There's a whole lot of folks that play college football. So one man that needs to step up. So be interesting to see who Steve Fields needs to step up.
41 seconds to go before halftime in this Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference matchup. Cortez with the kickoff. Comes down to the 7-yard line, and we get a bounce to the outside on the return by J.J. Yates. And he's finally run out of bounds at about the 34-yard line by Adam Ward. So with 29 seconds to go, and you have to feel for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. 2 mistakes have turned into 14 points tonight for Bethune. They got the ball down. They were driving on their second possession. They threw an interception, which that was run back, and again it was a pretty good drive, 80 yards that it was intercepted in the end zone. Well, it's a touchback, and it was an 80-yard drive for Bethune, and they took a lead. And then of course they were down at the 1, this knocking on the door the last time they had the ball and just couldn't punch it in.
Yeah, I mean 35 straight points by Bethune-Cookman, and A&T got off to such promise, but I've seen glimpses of where they got the ability to be a good offensive unit. So
and like you said, Coach said they're improving, and you know that's what's encouraging about the fact that even though they're winless, they've seen improvement each and every week. And so that's going to be the last play of the first half here as they go to the locker rooms. 35-7. Here's our score, and the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats trying to increase their record to 5-3 on the season, 3-2 in the conference, while the Aggies trying to snap that 0-7 start. Well, we're at halftime, 35-7 our score. Bethune on top. We're going to go to the studio with Mike Hall and SportsCenter U.
As is tradition, the bands are just about as much fun as the games. Let's listen into the A&T band right now.
Let it rain. Clear it out. Let's get it. Chicken noodle soup. With a soda on the side. Yeah.
member of the New Jersey Nets here, a 1995 graduate of Mainland High in Daytona Beach.
You know, you talk about Mainland High School, what a beautiful looking school it is, and Vince Carter gave $2.5 million to that school, his alma mater, and that's doing the right thing. And you know, that high school looks like a college gymnasium, and it's out of sight, and that's what it's all about, giving back.
It certainly is. And here's Rucker throwing to Weems across the middle, and Weems across the 20 out to about the 23-24 yard line. And you're talking about Mainland High alumni on this Bethune-Cookman roster.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they got 9 kids, and in order to get to, you can't get to Bethune-Cookman College without passing Mainland High School. They're a couple blocks away from each other.
Yeah, if you can leave the airport, you're going to go by Mainland.
Yeah, and they've got players. I mean, these guys here, they're not just on the roster, they're playing. You know, Mordecai starts, McCullough starts, Brent Davis been making plays. So that Mainland High School, they need to win some state championships to go along with all that football talent that they have.
First down and 10 at the 23-yard line for Bethune-Cookman. They lead it big in this ball game. Here's Rucker running to the right side, being chased, and finally throws incomplete. Was he past the line of scrimmage? No.
You know, I know we talk so much about Mainland High School. I think it's important that we give a special thanks to their vice principal, Dr. Cheryl Salerno, for opening up the gym to us. And we showed up all of a sudden on them, and their basketball head coach, Charles Bickerhoff, for allowing us in there.
No question about it. Let's look. The line of scrimmage to 23, and he threw it.
I'm in favor of the quarterback. You give him that half a step. You give him that half a yard. If he's out there stretching, I always go off the back leg. Officials sometimes like to go off the front leg, but
well, where's the ball? That's what's
back leg. You can't throw unless you got your base in the back.
No, people do throw off the wrong feet. Wrong feet.
Not good ones.
Not the wrong foot, but the wrong feet. Here's Russell rolling right, reversing his field, looking for a block, pulls up, stops, throws, and is behind the receiver, who fell down at the midfield stripe, and that was Victor Johnson. And there's a penalty flag down. Ineligible man downfield. So we got an ineligible downfield. And here's Jimmy Russell.
You know, this is one thing. I mean, I understand you're trying to buy time and get out the pocket, but there's certain ways you can move within the pocket to buy time downfield. Once you go from one side of the field back to the other side of the field, so many things can go wrong.
Offense, number 71. That penalty is declined. Third down.
Rayondo Lee, the junior right guard, returning starter. Academic All-American, criminal justice major. There he is. But, you know, again, that's why linemen go downfield.
They lose their bearings. You know, their natural instinct is to protect their quarterback at all costs.
On the offense, that's their first warning.
And every time you see Coach Wyatt on the side, let me ask you, is there a sharper dressed coach in any college football program than Alvin Wyatt?
National TV and you do that, rep.
Well, no.
Now,
most of them just wear it.
He can use that extra button now. I mean, button that up for me now. I'm not for that. You know, hit that top button, tighten it up a little bit.
Gotta have the bling showing, right?
Yeah, but he's definitely styling and profiling.
Here's Russell trying to go to left side this time. Still on his feet. Gets a first down across the 35 to about the 36-yard line, where he's finally brought down by Michael Hay for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T, rather, at the 36-yard line. Now, we look after this game, this Bethune-Cookman team has to play Hampton, Howard, and Florida A&M. That's how they close out their season.
Yeah, I mean, it gets tough for them. You know, it's always backloaded in terms of MEAC play for Bethune-Cookman, but top to bottom, the MEAC conference is so competitive this year. The top 5 teams are so close to each other in talent, but when you talk about football, Bethune-Cookman, it always comes down to the Florida Classic.
No question. A&T still has to play FAMU, Elon, and they'll close out the season against South Carolina State. This pass incomplete. On the near side, Eric Weems, the intended receiver, and somehow Rucker, I guess that hand's still bothering him. It's heavily taped because he's had some problems with it. Or at least the wrist is right now. You can see the bandage in the palm area of the hand.
And now here's what's going on, the problem with Bethune-Cookman passing attack. Rucker has the timing. He gets rid of the football on time. And even though he missed that pass, he threw it while the wide receiver was coming out of his break. He knows where to go with the football, but physically he doesn't have the capability. Russell has got the better arm than me.
Right.
He throws the ball better, but he holds on to the football a lot longer. He's more worried about his legs. He uses his legs a lot to bail him out of trouble. So, you know, with both guys banged up, look who they're going to a quarterback.
And they're going to Victor Johnson, the tall kid at quarterback. And, you know, one of the things that they talked about, and here's a kid who's been playing receiver today and has caught a couple of passes. But one of the things with this type of offense that Alvin White likes to run, Johnson was too tall to run that type of offense.
I like what he said. He said, I had to move the wide receiver before I got his head knocked off.
You know what? If they'd have gotten Xavier Lee, the backup down at Florida State, who's backing up Weatherford, he would have changed the offense.
Yeah, he loved
that kid's 6'4", 230 pounds, and he's from right down the street here at Seabreeze High. 3rd down and 7. They need to convert here, otherwise we may see the first punt of the night for Bethune-Cookman. Here's a pass, and that was Jimmy Russell to Weems on the far side, and the chains move forward, and they convert another 3rd down as Chris Caesar came up to make the stop.
Yeah, no, this is a good job. See, if a quarterback gets outside the pocket and starts to attack the line of scrimmage, defenders have to come up to stop the run. And when they come up, you just throw the ball over their head. It's a little dink pass, we call it. That's a good job, good elevation, good touch there. That's what happens when a quarterback gets outside the pocket, attacks the line of scrimmage, and puts the outside defender in a bind.
Last year, these two teams met. Game was tied at 17. But then the Aggies gave up 13 points the last 2 minutes of the first half, led by Jimmy Russell. And here again, trying to get around the right side. They're trying to keep the ball on the ground with P.J. Smith. And he is stopped by Wilbert Johnson of North Carolina A&T. When we talk about last year, Jimmy Russell ran for 39 yards and a touchdown that gave Bethune the lead for good. The Aggies gave up 556 yards. As you look at Jimmy Russell's stats so far today, 4 touchdowns he's accounted for, 2 passing, 2 running. As counterpart, Jared Rucker, 1 touchdown by way of the pass.
Both of them are going to continue to have their pass efficiency ratings climb. One of them throwing 70%, the other throwing 67%, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. So
and
very
it's nice,
efficient passers.
And it's nice when you have a combination like that. Not too many teams do. You see it in the running back situation, but not so much at the quarterback. And here's Jimmy Russell. Look at him. Down inside the 5 to 10, or inside the 10 to about the 9-yard line. Well, I'll tell you, he's just all over the place. And when you talk to him, he doesn't give you the impression that he's that type of athlete when you just see him and talk to him face to face, right?
Yeah, you wonder if he has a killer instinct.
Right,
I mean, he's like kind of a goofball, so to speak. And,
no,
he's
not a goofball.
Well, he kind of has that demeanor about himself. But I was wondering, how do you turn that switch on and off? But, I mean, look at this. He's a killer when he's on this football field. Great instincts, great athleticism. And I sit here from the booth and I say, wow, to have legs like that.
Yeah, you wish, huh?
Oh, I wish. Yeah, I wish. I was mobile, but I wasn't fast.
But you weren't agile, huh? It is 1st down and goal at the 9-yard line. And the quarterback in the game right now is Gerard Rucker. And he's brought down immediately by Michael Hay. Russell took him down to the 9. And here we go in the red zone.
And part of the reason why Bethune-Cookman is able to go perfect on any given night in the red zone is because of the style of their offense. It's sideline to sideline. It's not necessarily vertical. It's always sideline to sideline, find an angle, and then attack that hole. And that's why they're always, for years, traditionally been one of the better red zone offenses in run AA football.
54-17 to score a year ago in Greensboro, which the Wildcats won. And let's see as P.J. Smith gets to carry. He has a touchdown already tonight, to his credit. He's stopped by the wall, and it's a 3rd down facing the Wildcats of Bethune as Hempfield made the stop defensively. Davion.
Now on this next play here, with all that field over on the left side of the field, you know, they tried to trick him a couple times and hit him with a quick hit run on the right to the short side of the field. Now I'm pretty sure they're going to stretch the whole field and do some type of rollout to the left side of the field. And we got the big fella, Victor Johnson. Look at that size. He's got good size.
In motion is Council. Here's the option. Left. Rucker letting it go to the end zone. Weems with the catch. Touchdown. Bethune-Cookman College. Their theme, showstoppers and dream killers. They just killed somebody else's dream.
I'm telling you, the speed. I mean, you just can't defend the football field. I mean, a football field is 53.5 yards from sideline to sideline, and they know how to utilize all 53.5 yards.
So four different players have caught passes tonight for Bethune-Cookman College. Summers, Council, Victor Johnson, and now Weems from two different quarterbacks. Here's the point after, the 7th straight for Cortez. And the lead is increased to 49-7 with 5:12 remaining here in the third quarter. A 12-play, 91-yard drive that consumed 4:58 off the clock. 42-point lead by the home team.
Hey, I'm Marco.
49-7 with 5 minutes and 12 seconds remaining. And here in Daytona Beach, Jackie Robinson Ballpark and Museum, renamed in 1989. Of course, Jackie Robinson played his rookie season with Kansas City Monarchs and hit .387. And there's Eric Weems with his first touchdown catch of the evening. The 4th different receiver to catch a touchdown pass tonight. And for him as a receiver, that is his 7th touchdown reception for the season.
You look at Jackie Robinson Ballpark. I mean, we all know that he integrated the major leagues with the Dodgers, but it was the key that he was integrating baseball.
Yeah.
You know, and it started in the minors. And if you know, cities like Daytona Beach, making him feel or getting him used to what he was going to come across. And it wasn't just the Brooklyn Dodgers that had it. It started at the professional baseball level. A lot of people don't realize he was the first to integrate baseball, period, on any level.
And the running goes very rough.
What up, my homeboy, T-Town? Yo,
Tell them we coming next week, baby.
Hey, boys.
Yeah.
Hey, boys.
Yeah, next week, baby.
Next week, baby. Yeah. Join us next week. It's Thursday night. Jay and I will be in Hampton, Virginia for that particular matchup. And it'll be the second game of our college football prime time. Well, no, that's Thursday night. That'll be the only game, huh?
That's it.
Yeah, well, it'll be a big matchup at Hampton University, the 17th ranked team in the nation. It's college football primetime presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. That is next Thursday night, and that'll be the second big matchup for the Pirates of Hampton University. And hopefully Torian Charles will be healthy enough to play in that game, because it'll be nice to see Torian Charles and Justin Durant going against each other. Let's go to Mike Hall in the studio for SportsCenter U in game up. Yeah, against Georgia Tech. I swear that's a surprise. Beamer Ball's playing some defense tonight.
You know, I said it earlier. It's tough to go into Blacksburg and get a victory. I mean, it's not an easy road trip to make. The whole city's against you. Everybody's on you. You know, at certain venues, you just get accustomed to winning. And, you know, Frank Beamer's team, they're always going to play defense. You know, they're always going to play defense. They're always going to play special teams. The key is whether or not the offense is going to show up, and the offense is showing up for the Hokies this season.
Yeah, many people don't win in Lane Stadium down there in Blacksburg. 4:52 remaining here. Third quarter. Aggies with the ball from their own 20-yard line. They get about 3 yards. Be a 2nd down and 7 facing them. This is only their second possession of the third quarter or second half. The Bulldogs, or Wildcats, I should say. Wildcats at Bethune-Cookman College have scored on 7 straight possessions. They have not punted the ball tonight. And they've had some pretty long drives. Here's Campbell going back to the air. And this one is almost picked off. Almost picked off. Tipped at the line of scrimmage by one of the up linemen. Got his hands on there. There's Alvin Wyatt and Brad Bernard, the offensive coordinator, talking things over on the sideline.
And I like the fact that the Wildcats are continuing to bring the blitz in. You know, A&T, their quarterback, Wayne Campbell, he's going to learn a lot tonight in terms of how you deal with the blitz, and throws like that, forcing the issue and getting balls tipped up there. And it's a good job by Vic McCullough getting one of those big paws on the ball to tip it. But, you know, you got to pick up that pressure, and they're going to keep bringing the pressure until you show you know how to beat it.
Here They're working from the shotgun. Campbell in trouble and brought down immediately. You know, when you let the dogs out,
well, they bite.
I'll tell you, they come with a vengeance when they know they got you. You know, and I give the Aggies credit. They've hung in there as long as they could. Travis Rowland was the man with the stop that time.
I mean, this is how you know they're blitzing. This is Travis Rowland's a strong safety, so they're bringing safeties, not just linebackers. They're bringing linebackers and safeties from every angle there. They're going to keep doing it. You know, credit to Coach Wyatt and the staff. I mean, do what you do well and continue to get better. And I think if you're A&T, you have to learn how to pick up the blitz. You can never become a good offense until you learn how to pick up the blitz. If you're scared of the blitz, you'll always be a shaky offense.
We have a penalty. Let's see if there's a delay of game or what's going on.
Illegal substitution. Defense, 12 men on the field when the snap is imminent. 5-yard penalty. Remain 4th down.
Well, this is against the Aggie, or I should say against the Wildcats of Bethune-Cookman College. And I'm looking at the penalties pretty, not a whole lot of penalties. Bethune's been penalized 8 times so far this evening.
You know, their penalties once, you know, have kept drives alive. On the first drive of the game, they ran into the punter. Those have been the only points that A&T was able to muster up this evening.
Great hang time. Good kick by Lee Woodson. And the return is out to the 38-yard line. Let's check in to Sports Center U with in-game update, Mike Hall.
John.
Well, thank you. And you got to listen to what Mike Hall said. I mean, if you're missing ESPNU, you're missing a whole lot.
Especially that Arkansas team. I mean, I really like Arkansas.
Last week we had Ohio State on.
Ohio State, yeah.
Devin Bradley's in the lineup at quarterback spot. Number 17 for the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats, a sophomore out of Daytona Beach.
Offense, number 17. 5-yard penalty. Remain 1st down.
That's the 4th quarterback we've seen. We started with Russell. Rucker came in, and of course we saw Victor Johnson play quarterback, move from his natural position out to the wide receiver spot, and there you see the 4th quarterback. He's working out of the shotgun. And he hands off right away. They go off to the right side. We won't see the ball in the air much as a good run is being put down by Justin Brannon, the junior from Jacksonville, Florida. Good run for him before J.J. Yates came up to make the stop, and it's good for 1st down.
You know, Bethune-Cookman trying to go to a power running game, which they normally don't do in a classy effort to sort of run out the clock in their own way. And you know, you got guys like Justin Brandon. Hey, they're getting there and they're just running hard. The offensive line for Bethune-Cookman has dominated North Carolina A&T all evening, running, passing in every aspect of the game.
18-yard gain on the play. And here's P.J. Smith trying to go off the right side. Good defensive play there by Patrick Cates, number 63, to come up and bring him down.
Cates did a great job of fighting off the block, and that's what you have to do. You have to have that motor. See, just because you engage doesn't mean you stay engaged. Hey, shield him off, keep him on the inside shoulder, and wrap up the running back. That's a good job by Patrick Cates of shielding off the blocker.
Yeah, he's out of Northern Durham High in Durham, North Carolina. Number 63 comes in at 275 pounds. Lee Fobbs replaced George Small, an alum of the Aggies, who came in the first year, 3 years or 4 years ago, took the team and won the MEAC championship. As quarterback decides he's going to take off and run, and we get a late flag from our referee, Andre Lowe, holding against Bethune-Cookman College, their 9th penalty of the night. But you're talking about the coaching carousel over the last couple of years. Small did well his first couple of years, and we'll listen to Andre Lowe.
Holding, offense, number 50, 10 yards from the previous spot, replay 2nd down.
So new people in the lineup now, and we're going to see some mistakes being made, but again, we talk about the fact that Lee Fobbs had to come in and replace George Small, who had replaced Bill Hayes, who replaced Mo Forte. And Bill Hayes, of course, is the all-time winningest coach at North Carolina A&T, 106 wins, and he's now the athletic director at North Carolina Central University. Mo Forte doing a very good job with Arkansas Pine Bluff, has them tied for the top spot with Grambling in the Western Division of the SWAC. Here's the option to the right side, and the quarterback Bradley takes it down inside the 40 to about the 39-yard line. Devin Bradley getting some action.
You like that. You know, Devin Bradley, he's not the traditional Bethune-Cookman Wildcat quarterback, a little bit taller than they like him to be, but, you know, they've got so many. You know, when you've got an offensive system like this, their system's in place, all you basically do is just input a wide receiver and let him get behind the center and make it happen. I mean, they really do stretch the field. Devin Bradley's another quarterback getting a chance, but I think the key, what they're really doing here, they're trying to rest up. You know, the rest of their season, they're already banged up. They want to get everybody healthy. They, you know,
especially for next week.
For next week. You know, for next week. Charles' health is questionable, the star middle linebacker, and Wyatt now is starting to respect the injury bug and just wants his team to get out of here healthy.
Weems is in a wing to the left side, and it's straight ahead. P.J. Smith. P.J. Smith is at the 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Bethune-Cookman. P.J. Smith with the run. 41 yards.
You know, what do you say there? I mean, that's just power running up the middle by P.J. Smith. And, you know, at this point, you wonder where is the effort intensity? I mean, right up the middle. You don't draw it up. How do you let a guy go untouched on a touchdown run right to the teeth of your defense? You've got to protect the middle of the field. And P.J. Smith takes it to the house.
And we still have 14 seconds to go in the third quarter. Trying to make it 56-7. They do. A 4-play, 61-yard drive that used 2:51 off the clock.
I mean, we talk about being in Daytona. This is the Daytona 500 coming right at you. He doesn't even have to go in a circle. He just makes one left turn, and he's off to the races. I mean, one guy to beat there. He makes him miss, slides behind him. I mean, look at that. Just stepping. And, you know, where is the defense for the North Carolina A&T Aggies? 56 unanswered points.
Yeah, it was 7-0, and very close to being tied.
We thought we had a ball game, didn't we? It was 7-7.
Yeah, 7-7, and then it went up 14-7, and then they threw the interception when they got down close, and then they fumbled another time when they got down close. So again, the Aggies have been their own worst enemies. But one of the things that you understand is these are young kids. These are freshmen. You know, as Spencer Glenn, their radio announcer said, he said, I don't know how many different ways I can say how young this team is. He said, I've been saying it all year. He said, you're seeing them one time. I've been seeing them for 7 games. But and I can understand that. But they understand, as the coaches told us, the direction that the team and the coaching staff is trying to take them. And the coaches have made a commitment to build this program and rebuild it. And because of the youth that they have, they've minimized the game plan so they don't have to think about too many things and making things very simplified for them. It's just that they haven't matured enough. You know, most of these kids were playing high school football a year ago.
Yeah, they're going through growing pains. And, you know, Chris Carter used to always say in the Vikings locker room, hey, whatever doesn't kill you can only make you stronger.
Well,
they're not dying. They're going to get strong from this, and they're going to learn how to compete. And, you know, I think it's going to be a feel-good story. The evolution of these guys as freshmen getting beat up on to see where they are their junior and senior year. But the key is they've got to stay together.
You say some is good, more is better, huh?
all the time. Last time I checked. So.
It is 8 seconds remaining here in the third quarter.
You know, some of the things to note, the fact that this isn't, you know, the traditional A&T program. They've got some changes in the program they're doing, so it's going to be interesting. I think we'll talk about a lot more of that in the fourth quarter, some of the changes they put in place as an institution at A&T.
Well, 15 minutes of football left here. It's been a blowout since it was a 7-0 lead by the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. 56 unanswered points by Bethune-Cookman.
Oh, tell them we coming next week, baby. It's on, boys. Yeah, we ready, baby. Yeah, next week.
First down and 10 for the Aggies from their own 20-yard line. Low snap. Campbell picks it up, has the pass incomplete. You know, we're looking at the 56 points on the board that Bethune-Cookman has put up. When Alvin Wyatt was in his first year as the head coach at Bethune-Cookman College, he lost to North Carolina A&T by a score of 73-7. That was 1996. This is Lee Fobbs' first year as head coach of the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. We could see 73-7 here tonight.
No, you think that's somewhere in the back of Coach White's mind? Hey, these guys put up 76 on me before, so, we're going to keep going. But I really don't, in his defense, he's really tried to run the ball towards the middle of the field. A&T just not tackling. They're doing a lot of arm tackling, and they've got to get it together. Coach Fobbs, and I'm very impressed with him, the organization, the skill. They've showed flashes, but they still have a long way to go.
Well, you see this young man here, Andrew Sagatti. He's from Pago Pago, over 6,000 miles away from Greensboro. And from Los Angeles, you're just about a third of the way there. It's a U.S. territory, has a population of 57,000 people. There's 6 high schools that produce quality football players. In fact, there are about 24 Samoans on NFL rosters right now. And about 4 years ago, ESPN did a study. It said an American Samoan had a better chance of making it to the NFL than the average American. And this young man didn't even start playing football until his junior year of high school. He wound up at a junior college after high school. Got to Greensboro because of Kenneth Ray, who's the new offensive line coach at North Carolina A&T. He had recruited at San Joaquin Delta College in Stockton, California, while at Graceland U, an NAIA school, and he was looking for linemen. Sagatti was on the radar screen, and he wound up in Greensboro.
Wow, they come from all over.
Yes, indeed.
Football is such a global game now. It really is. You can go everywhere, and the Samoan history in football is deep. As a quarterback, I go back to, you got Tuiasosopo now.
Yeah,
and
right.
then you got throwing Samoan at Washington State, Jack Thompson. So they've been playing football for a while, and they played very well.
1 second down. Campbell throws, has it complete, but not a lot of yards, about 5 to be exact. And Garth was the receiver, Andre Garth. He was a junior college kid from Itawamba Junior College. Played at Armory High in Fulton, Mississippi. Very highly recruited coming out of high school. Wound up last year with 31 receptions and 10 touchdowns at the junior college.
Yeah, you're going to play junior college football is one thing, but one of the things Coach Bob said, we brought in these JC guys, and our first game is against our rival, Winston-Salem, and these kids had never played in front of 25, 30,000 folks before, so they came out with the jitters in that ball game, and they got beat.
And here's a draw play. And it's Ferguson on the carry. He's been the only production they've really had in terms of running the ball this evening for as the Aggies are concerned.
Yeah, Ferguson, he's grown a lot this evening. Early he was going down with a couple arm tackles. Then he started to get motivated and really started carrying the ball for a while and was a load. So been very impressed with Ferguson's effort today.
So for the 5th time this evening, the Aggies will punt it away. Their punter is Lee Woodson, redshirt sophomore from Reidsville, North Carolina. Weems and Council are the deep men for the Wildcats of Bethune. Both of them very dangerous. Great hang time, though. He turns the ball over. I really like the way this kid kicks. Not a lot of distance, but here's... we may turn out the lights all of a sudden right here. Here's Weems. He's still on his feet, gets into the end zone, touchdown. Eric Weems on the punt return. Eric Weems can do it all. And you're talking about an all-purpose young man who's ranked 9th in the nation in punt returns and 23rd in all-purpose yards.
Yeah, and he's just a great athlete. Somewhere you think Coach Fobbs is hoping that Lightning will come in our area here and maybe have to postpone or delay the rest of this football game here. Great effort. I've been a fan of Eric Weems for a long time. He's so fun to watch and so energetic, and he leaves it all on the field every single night.
67 yards on that punt return. And the point after is good. Cortez is going to be tired tonight. Weems, that is his longest punt return of the year. The previous was 60. That one good for 67 and a touchdown. He takes it to the house. The senior from Ormond Beach. Number 1 in the MEAC in punt returns. We'll be back. ESPNU College Football presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. You have to be here. And in part by Dr. Pepper. With 23 flavors in every Dr. Pepper, there is more to it. Along with Jay Walker, Charlie Neal here. We're in Daytona Beach for this MEAC matchup. And it's been all Bethune since they trailed 7-0, 63 unanswered points, the most points under Alvin Wyatt in regulation since he's taken over this program 11 years ago.
Well, you know, like Mr. T said in Rocky, they got a lot of more time to go to. A lot of more.
A lot of more.
13 minutes left.
Yeah, well, like I said, the more better man. He'll get you. With 13:44 of the time remaining, and of course 3 games left for both of these teams after tonight. The big game next week coming your way right here on the ESPNU between Bethune-Cookman and Hampton University. Here's J.J. Yates trying to bring it back from the 2-yard line. And he just about got to the 18. And let's look at Eric Weems with his longest return of the year, good for 67 yards.
Yeah, you know, take a look at all the white jerseys, how they took the bait on the left side of the screen. And, you know, you got so many white jerseys flowing to the left side. There were Bethune-Cookman Wildcat blockers looking for somebody to block. I mean, he's got a whole entourage down there. One guy, you know, the punter comes and he just kind of gets in the way a little bit with the fall down. And Weems with the over-the-top scoop for the touchdown, but they sent so many jerseys to the left side of the screen that when Weems made that cut to bring it hard the other way, there was nobody there for the Wildcats to block.
We wonder, can Weems play at the next level? We know he's a Randall L type return man, but because of the type of offense that he's played in, can he play the receiver spot in the NFL?
Yeah, I think, you know, he's more of a slot receiver spot. I don't think he can play the X or the Z, so to speak. He's a third down guy. You bring him in there to play the slot. He can do a lot of things, but if he can continue to do what he just did, which is return, I mean, there's a knack. You can make the team specifically as a return guy, and every team is looking for one. And, you know, if they can disregard what he's going to run and they say his 40-yard dash times are improving. But I've never seen him get caught from behind, and I think he has what it takes. He's been a lot of fun to watch for a number of years, and I really am impressed with his overall football playing ability.
No question about it. And keep the ball on the ground. The Aggies of North Carolina A&T running it. And, of course, there's Michael Ferguson.
You know, one of the names we haven't mentioned this evening has been, you know, Bobby Williams. He's come up and made a number of plays in this game. But when you talk about Bethune-Cookman for the past 6 years, you like to call him DBU. You know, I'm a Howard guy, so I can't necessarily say they've got that accolade there. Your guy from Segovia's a little beat up.
Right.
But Bethune-Cookman, they've got a recipe for good defensive backs in the NFL.
Well, they do. They certainly, you know, like Penn State is linebacker U. In recent years, Bethune has been DBU.
I mean, these guys play. I mean, they make plays. Rasheed Mathis is intercepting everybody every week, whether it's Ben Roethlisberger, whoever. Nick Collins is starting for the Green Bay Packers. And, you know, we ask them all about Bobby Williams as North Carolina A&T picks up the first down, and they say Bobby Williams is definitely next.
Well, let's join Mike Hall in the studio. Sports Center U in-game update, Michael.
Fella.
Well, we have 63-7 right here.
Something about Thursday night. I mean, one team shows up, another doesn't. You know, it takes a team effort, and everybody's watching.
Ferguson with 108 yards tonight. That's his season high. And looked like the ball may have been on the ground, and we got a late flag coming in. I think a little extracurricular activities by one of the offensive linemen or blockers for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T.
You know, when you talk about that score taking place in Blacksburg and how you've got Bethune-Cookman putting on A&T, the same things that make you laugh will make you cry.
Yeah, no question.
You know, a couple Thursdays ago, it was Clemson laughing at how bad they beat down Temple.
Yeah.
Be careful. Same things make you laugh, make you cry.
Personal foul, 1 white. Personal foul, 25 red. Those penalties will decline.
Well, they got 2 players.
Third down.
Well, you know, you're talking about this Aggie team, and here's a team that was a pride of the MEAC for many years. They have 6 MEAC conference titles. They have 75, 86, 91, 92, 99, and 03. South Carolina State leads the conference with the most. They have 10. But you look at what has happened here. They were one of the founding schools of the MEAC, the 6 titles. They've also had 5 different coaches named MEAC Coach of the Year. Hornsby Howell was named twice. Jim McKinley, Mo Forte, Bill Hayes was named twice, and then, of course, George Small in 2003. So it's kind of interesting to watch the transformation of this program in Greensboro.
And I think one of the interesting note is the fact that this is a team that's given up 63 points, but once upon a time, they had the most feared defense in all of 1AA football,
right?
When the Blue Death defense. I mean, nobody wanted to play A&T because you knew you were going to get beat up.
And the other thing that happened to them this year, in addition to all the players that graduated or left the school because they lost eligibility, they had players that left the program because of the coaching change. And, you know, they suffered one of their highest dropout rates than any school in the conference this past year. And it's definitely a rebuilding mode for Lee Fobbs, whose final touch won't be seen for a couple of years down the road. Here's a screen they're trying to set up, and that's intercepted. That's intercepted. And coming up with it is Solomon Aqua.
This is the quarterback's fault here when poor decision with the throw, but you've got to sell the screen. I mean, screens are things that you sell, and what you have to do is allow the defensive line to get close to you. He was retreating so far back, Campbell was, that he doesn't let the defensive line get close to him. You've got defensive linemen 12 yards away, and he's throwing the ball there. And you know what that'll do to a coach? This is what it does to a coach. Why did I decide to come to Greensboro, North Carolina?
Well, they're brighter days ahead, believe me.
They are. You know, that's some of the things we also talked about, the fact that, you know, A&T is going to be around. They had some things in place where they were kind of hurting themselves in terms of out-of-state recruiting, not allowing the previous coaches to recruit outside the state of North Carolina. Now they're going everywhere, so other coaches beware. You know, they've got a plan in place, and it's going to be interesting to see how well the rest of the community takes to it. And give credit to the Aggie pride, the fans. I mean, they say the fans have been supportive, and their attendance has been phenomenal through this losing season.
Now the quarterback who has come in is limping off. Number 17, he got a little banged up on that last play inside there, and Devin Bradley, and maybe he's not going to come off. Let's see who they're going to send in there now. This is going to be the receiver. Victor Johnson's going to come in and play quarterback. See, they're trying to save Matt Johnson. They don't want to play him this year. They want to redshirt him. They don't want him to take any snaps because they know they're going to lose Rucker next year. And here's the kid that's probably the quarterback of the future. And here's the big kid, Victor Johnson, the junior from Altamonte Springs in Florida, keeping the ball. Don't forget to log on to your new online source on things college sports, ESPNU.com. It's the online gateway that will connect you to all the college sports content from ESPN, combining the latest news with an expanded collection of new exclusive material, scores, columns, video, and audio highlights, podcasts, live streaming, games, and more. And if you don't get ESPNU, make sure you call your local cable provider or log on to ESPNU.com. Do it today.
I mean, that ESPNU.com is special. I've got a close family friend who's a top-ranked cornerback in the state of Alabama, Phelan Jones, and I'm tracking his recruiting going online. So if you go to ESPNU.com, you can follow your high school stars in your neighborhood and see where they rank compared to everybody else in the country. And, you know, and they are up to the date with those stats and everything on there. So it's a phenomenal website. And I'm a big high school football fan. I like to see where the kids are going and who's got the best recruiting classes, and that's where I go for my information.
Tony Fields, the man on the last carry, the sophomore from Leesburg, Florida. We're seeing a whole lot of wholesale changes with 8.5 minutes to go in this particular ball game. And here's a handoff again and again on the carry, Tony Fields, and he dances down inside the 10 to about the 9-yard line. And of course the Recruiters Insider Show, also a supplement. I mean, that's something great to watch.
Yeah, that's when you got some time to watch it too. When you got a chance to watch TV, why not hear it from them? You know, they get so much information during that show. And you know, the lifeblood for college football is and always will be recruiting.
No question.
The key to being a great coach is having what? Great players and great recruits. Right. You know, that's what you got to do. So, you know, if you want to follow your college football program closely, you really got to know who's coming to the campus.
You know, one of the things that has been successful for the 1A schools is the kids transferring down from Division I programs. They can do it at any time. Starting next year, this is the last year they'll be able to do it after their sophomore year.
Yes, I mean, you know, if you don't do it, you can't do it as a senior. You know, you can't lose your job in the spring.
I should say before your junior year.
Yeah. That's a good rule. I mean, I think so. You know, because you know, so much time, and they are student athletes, and you really don't want kids coming out just making football decisions all the time.
Victor Johnson trying to get to the end zone. He's about a yard shy. They have not signaled touchdown yet. He's down at the 1-yard line. Let's look at it once again.
I know Coach Wyatt said he's a little too tall to run the wide bone, but he does a pretty good job of it right here. Hard play action fake, get outside. And this is what he can do because he's got those long arms. Contact made on the 5, but he can extend and give a straight arm. And I thought he got that ball up in there.
No, the ball never crossed the goal line. His legs crossed the goal line. See his legs.
Maybe he left it with him. Maybe he left it. It looked like that ball was sitting on the goal line.
So at the 1, straight ahead, touchdown, Bethune-Cookman College. New running back in the lineup, and everybody's getting into the picture right now. It looks like Rashawn Williams on the score, and he's a freshman, a redshirt freshman from Rockledge, Florida.
Everybody gets a little piece of the pie when you're winning.
And it's 69-7. I wasn't wrong. Far off, was I?
Hey, that score is getting up there. You know, we talked earlier about could the number 70 come into the picture. Once again, Charlie Bills, you're more right than you're all wrong.
And for the point after, Mr. Cortez, who's been a busy man tonight. Ten extra points, a 7-play, 29-yard drive, 3:32 off the clock, 7-0 over 07. Mary McLeod Bethune, the founder of Bethune-Cookman College, teacher, and she helped build the school, was a friend of many great people, including Eleanor Roosevelt, Faith Hall, Bethune's house. And I'll tell you, if you have a chance to ever visit this campus and go to visit her house, it's an amazing thing to see. Mary McLeod Bethune, a real big educator, and what an honor it is to be here in Daytona Beach and be on the campus and get a chance to visit her house in which she lived in when she was here.
Yeah, you know, she started the school for all the right reasons. A lot of people go out there and say they stress education, but to get out there and start your own college and university means you're not only talking the talk, but she was way ahead of her time, walking the walk.
And we talked about her association with a lot of great people, including Eleanor Roosevelt. There she is, getting a corsage on, the wife of the former president, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Mary McLeod Bethune, Bethune-Cookman College. There she is in front of the United States Capitol.
You know, one thing that Wildcat alums need to do is come back to the yard. I mean, that yard is not the same yard you graduated from. They've got new buildings and they got new shine, so to speak. They got shiny new buildings and everything. You know, it's a beautiful campus, and you know, we've come here for the past couple of years, and it's just looking better and better every time you come down to Daytona Beach.
At the 31, North Carolina A&T trailing by 63 points. They led at 7-0. Here's a fumble, and let's see who has it. They're still diving, and it looks like Bethune came up with it. I believe the Wildcats have it, and that's the fourth turnover. Fourth turnover. Christopher Robinson. You know, Dr. Trudy Kibble-Reed is the president of Bethune-Cookman College, and she has been very instrumental in turning around the landscape of Bethune-Cookman College with a lot of new buildings. You got the Performing Arts Center, Wildcat Student Center, and a Performing Arts Center in which B.B. King and Bill Cosby has performed already.
They've packed it.
Yeah.
You know, those are the ones that have packed the house, and you know, BB's going to do it wherever he is. He's a legend. I mean, but it's a beautiful facility. You know, it really is. And the campus, you know, I was on campus. I thought I was someplace new. It really does look nice, and they've got a campus they can be proud of.
Second straight possession that they've started down in A&T territory, and here's a running quarterback going around the left side and getting a first down inside the 15. About the 13, that's Victor Johnson.
This is how you run the option. As a quarterback, put that ball in your fullback's belly and then snatch it out. You see the strength he had to snatch that ball out of there. And once your pitch man is covered, you decide you're just going to run hard, accelerate up the field. Good hard tackle there on your quarterback. See, that's why quarterbacks get banged up in this type of offense, because you become a running back once you accelerate beyond the line of scrimmage. But Bethune is doing it from all ways, and everybody's getting a little piece of the pie.
Everybody but the center scored 7, and Alvin Wyatt. And you and I will go down and score if we get down there. I think I tell you the way it's going tonight. Here's an option to the right side. Victor Johnson in trouble, though. A bunch of white jerseys in front of him, and he loses maybe a yard on the play. When you talk about the 3 different players that have scored 2 touchdowns tonight, we're talking about the 2 quarterbacks, Russell and Rucker, along with the A-back, Eric Weems.
You know, I think, why you see him talk, hey, we're trying to run the ball. We're trying to run the ball. We're just, we're trying to go forward, and they're trying to do it. But, what a job. What a job that they've done. And I'm just excited about next week. I mean, that game next week, you got Bethune, and they possibly could be running on all cylinders, taking on Hampton. And Hampton's team, they're going to have to do a good check time for them as well.
One of the things we want to talk to Alvin Wyatt about is how do you guard against looking beyond a 0-7 team and ahead to a big game with Hampton. And one of the things, again, he's done a very good job of keeping his team focused. Join ESPNU next Thursday. Jay and I will be in Hampton to bring you that key MEAC title matchup, possibly the title on the line there between Bethune-Cookman and Hampton University. ESPN College Football Primetime presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. And if you don't get ESPNU, make sure you call your cable operator. Log on to ESPNU.com today. We are college sports and the largest provider of college sports. And again, quarterback in trouble. It's 4th down. Let's see what happens. Hey, wait a minute.
Are they going to put a foot to a ball?
Wait a minute. That's 73 points. Wait a minute. What did I tell you? 73-7. That was the score in 1996. In Alvin Wyatt's first year by North Carolina A&T, and here we go.
I think he's going to run it out. I don't, he's debating it there. I think he's going to kind of run it out or try to run it out. That South Carolina State Hampton game, the Bethune-Cookman Hampton game, to me it's so special because in the MEAC, you got the Florida boys and you got the Tidewater boys.
Right.
In between them all, they all can play.
Well, South Carolina State, I'll tell you, did a great job of stopping Hampton University last Saturday in Orangeburg.
Play a game, offense, number 19, 5-yard penalty, remain 4th down.
I had the pleasure of doing that game in Orangeburg, and it wasn't pleasurable for the Hampton Pirates, but I'll tell you, it's been a long time since someone held them without a touchdown in a ball game.
Yeah, South Carolina State, that's almost like Virginia Tech's a tough place to go on a road trip and get a victory. Orangeburg's a tough place to go on the road and get a victory.
They don't even have the sequoia trees and the wet down field that Willie Jeffries
that he made famous.
Yeah, they've got new turf down there. And this is a 4th down play. They just decide to keep it on the ground and turn it over on down.
Classy act. Classy act there.
So at the 12-yard line, the Aggies will get the ball with 3:05 remaining. 70-7, Alvin Wyatt's team in control, and let's listen to the sounds of the game with Coach Alvin Shine Wyatt.
Let's talk to you about that dumb stuff. For what? You ain't say nothing. You ain't said nothing or nothing, man. Oh, man. You're on national TV. You're on national TV and you do that, ref. They crazy. That's why I kick to the right, out of bounds. Them jokers be crazy. Them coaches be punting. Hey, you look like me in my day. I can say we put you on national TV 3 times in 1 year. South Florida, you didn't do that.
Shine having fun. It's kind of interesting. He was talking to Eric Weems. He said, you look like me in my day. Yesterday, we were talking to him. I said, who reminds you of you when you played here? He said, Eric Weems. And that's who he was talking about. He still holds the school record, Alvin Wyatt, for career interceptions with 34. Rasheed Mathis only had 31 when he was here, even though he broke his record for interceptions in the season. But he still holds the school career record for interceptions.
I mean, 34 interceptions. That's averaging over 8 a year. DBs live for 8 in a career.
He had 5 in one game. That's a school record. That happened in 1969 against Albany State. Mathis had 4 against Delaware State in 2000, and Mathis had 14 in one season. Wyatt had 13.
Yeah, he's probably, what a lot of people don't know, will stump everybody, one of the few players in the history of college football to be named offensive and defensive player of the year in the conference.
Certainly was. 2nd down and 10 for North Carolina A&T. He's a fun guy to be around, I'll tell you. He keeps something going as they keep the first down and the chains moving. The Aggies of A&T. New running back in the lineup for the Aggies is Charles Truesdale. As we look at the remaining schedule, a big game next week at Hampton next Thursday night. Jay and I will be there for that. Then they'll play Howard University here on November 11th and close out the season with the Florida Classic in Orlando against the Rattlers of Florida A&M.
You know, next week's for all the marbles. You know, they said they can have a chance at winning the conference with 2 losses. You can't win with 3 losses in the MEAC conference. So next week they got to lay it all on the line. If they can get by that hurdle next week, then they'll be in good shape. They'll still be in contention. And like I said, down here in Florida, this part of Florida, comes down to that Florida Classic, Bethune-Cookman and FAMU.
When you look at the standings, a 3-way tie for first right now. Should Delaware State beat South Carolina State, that would make them 4-1, drop South Carolina State to 3-2, or vice versa. South Carolina State will have to play that game in Dover, and everybody will be watching that one on Saturday. And our quarterback Wayne Campbell, with 1 minute and 15 seconds to go, trying to go right, and nothing has gone too right for them. Their first drive, they look pretty good tonight.
Yeah, they show flashes, and the scheme is there. I mean, guys open, and I think Campbell, when he looks at film, will realize he could have done a couple things better as a quarterback. Hit the open tight end in the end zone for the touchdown, and don't throw the interception and touchdown. So right there, he was responsible for 14 points and could have kept this game a lot closer.
I asked Alvin, I said, what do you think was the strength of the team at the beginning of the season? He felt that the defense was going to be the strength of this team this year, but injury bug hurt them. I mean, he didn't have McCullough for the linebacker for every game. I mean, he lost some other people in some key positions, and then of course the quarterbacks came up lame as we get a run to the outside and across midfield, or Price right at the midfield stripe is John. Let me see who that is. Charles Truesdale on the carry, number 14.
Well, that's that effort there. You never give up there. You just run hard.
And we're in Daytona Beach for this MEAC 1AA matchup here on College Football Prime Time, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings, along with Jay Walker, Charlie Neal here. The visitors in white from Greensboro, North Carolina. Long ride back home after this one. Most points they've given up this season. They started the year. They lost they gave up 41 to Winston, 48 to Hampton, 48 to Lafayette, Louisiana, 42 to Norfolk State, 32 to Morgan, 37 to Dell State, and 26 a week ago to Howard. But tonight, they give up 70 points in their loss, 70-7, the final score. The biggest defeat the Aggies have suffered. Largest margin of victory during his tenure. That is Alvin Wyatt, a 63-point victory. They lost his first year big to the Aggies of A&T. Once again, our final score from Daytona Municipal Stadium, 70-7. The Wildcats of Bethune-Cookman over the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. Coming up, we'll send you to our Sports Center U studio with Mike Hall for more information. Log on to ESPNU.com. We are college sports. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Jay Walker and the entire ESPN production team, Charlie Neal saying good night from Daytona Beach, Florida.